Hello, we're on Friday the 13th of the 3rd, 20. You have myself, David, aka Indy, and brother Kelvin, or Kevin, there's some nice mixtures of names for you, brother, and Kay. You want to say hello,
Evening.
brother?
Hello, everybody.
I'll turn you up,
Hope you're
mate.
all right.
There we go.
Hope you're all okay, and looking forward to the weekend. Yeah, it's all good. Good to see you.
I've entitled it, thank you, bro, MOS, that is Ministry of Self. Today's cast is a unique one where we're going to encapsulate the emerge and see, the emergency, because there is death involved. I will classify it for our time here in this combination of interaction that we're going to have with the master brain of self-initiates. If you are aware of yourself, a self-initiate, a self-scholar, a self-master, self-aware, self-conscious, conscionable actions, etc., then you are kind of sovereign, which is kind of I'm saying just generally in Christ-like consciousness. So it needs stark serious. It's as serious as it gets. Times, the A&E, accident and emergency. That is where I get that from. Josh X brought that to me with the cement, the mind, the C for the mind, the ment, the cement, the road that's meant to be the sea. Respect to Josh X. So I want to open with, this is thy kirk, and this is where the heal thy hurt. It is in natural grace or watching young life shape. It's in minor keys, that be the solutions and remedies. So even if it means that enemies have to become friends as somewhat with, we say that politically, financially, economic casualties. So that's are we all at war, and etc. As we've viewed all's fair in love and war, and what. So we unfortunately have been branded, commercialised, assumed commodities via the certification and bondage of Bond Street, Wall Street, and etc. So centralised banks and monarchies and papacies from the Romanus Pontifex and the Lex Mercatoria, etc. So it's not by choice, and
I'm gonna go and put a life jacket on.
yeah. Bale is off the edge. He's walking the
Well,
plank.
there's a lot. We're in the seas, mate. There's a lot of seas just come out. I'm gonna get my life jacket on.
Enemies becoming friends when bitterness ends. This is your ministry of sovereignty, established by natural man's right, and you have a right to live, and we ought to live right. Yeah. So welcome, thank you, and Kev will read the room if you can see it. We'll see.
I can.
Yeah. What? Go on. Who's in?
Jerry sounds like he's coronavirused up.
Oh.
Nice one, Jerry. I knew you'd be first, mate. Do it, mate. Have to fucking beat everyone to it, don't you? Queen, good evening. That's all I can see in the room. I've got 7 up the top, and we've got 3 of us, well, including me. I'm at the very top. Oh, Kev. Right, evening. So, yes, there we are. Hope everybody's all right.
Sorry, but yeah, we'll focus on the G-Man then. Hello to everybody. Thank you. Welcome. Good evening. I have some numbers for you, as me and my numbers, that will always remain. So I want to cover a little bit about the death process and certificates. They've simplified them in Italy, and the management of these bonded certificates, deaths, and what's going on here. Anybody with information or that has been, allegedly infected, diagnosed, if you have claim to being that, I'd like to know how you've been diagnosed, where, how you found it, what's gone on, and then some information if you're willing to disclose that, Jerry, or others, generalising.
Yeah, he said he promises not to sneeze on the phone.
That's what we're here for. So as a positive then, before we go any further, everybody stop, hammer time. You can't touch this. Anders is the man that's introduced me to the GANs, and I've introduced you to the GANs. So the supply chain of information, as they call it, the supply chain, chains are for slaves. There's no supply chain, but the information portal was Anders. He's got a lot of info, and I'm going to review this intensively over the next week. I've got next week off. I'm doing some private stuff, trust stuff, documents, and .com stuff. So I'm going to say to Anne-Marie that Yanka will not be going to school next week regardless. I don't think it is safe. So that's our private, decision before the public health sector or Department of may or may not do that this weekend. So there's good news. What are they spraying, everybody? When you see these news reports of China and the decontamination, I ask you all, Scribe, seriously, what do you think they're spraying to decontaminate? Question number one. Before we get this is going to be good for you. You're going to love this, but there won't be many tube channels talking about this. But we're privileged and honoured because of Anders to have learnt about the claims to this atomic nanostate gas material. So as I've mentioned GANs and I'm on about decontamination in China, I hope you can put two and two together and get the four here. It appears there may be claim that Keshe is in China, and that this simple kind of Sumerian ancient simplified atomic and I'm going to bring you a story of Egypt with the noon, the beginning, the stillness vibrating upon itself, and Atum, Amen, and the creation of Thoth from an Egyptian point of view. So when we talk about atoms and Atum and Amen, I've got an interesting, very deep and fascinating story about the creation. Isis is in there, Osiris. It's going to be about an hour's presentation for you. So it does bear true for these guys, some positivity has come from the GANs from my point of view. I'll talk about that later in this video, in this cast. But the foundation and China, it's information's coming to me that they could possibly be washing down, with this GANs, and I've spoken to others and Anders about the GANs and the way that it can balance stuff out. And there was a claim, as you saw in the video that YouTube deleted, that I wanted us all to discuss the information in there, and he labelled it 1 pint, 1 life. And he calmly and collectively and articulately, he did mention space and space technology, and I thought that's a bit tongue-in-cheek, to be fair, but we'll go with it for the greater good. I wasn't promoting NASA or the space paradigm or any kind of paradigm. If any, it was more the fact that he says if you make this water and you make it with these simple elements, alchemy, and we're into alchemy, chemistry, and medicine. We need medicine now. We need to self-heal, self-knowledge, self-governance, self-repairing. Hippocrates, Greek, anthologist. Plants, let food be your medicine. Eat the right food groups and correctly, and you won't need, food is your medicine basically, and medicine be your food. If you don't eat the right food groups, then medicine will always be your food, because you'll always be sick for lack of nutrition and vitality. So we are allowed to speculate. The silver water was the beginning, the Bosnian water was the beginning for me, and the energies within that, the ionization and the atomic, the subatomic health and wealth. So I'm not saying that Keshe or any water will save a life. What I am saying is we've been passed a video, the trust, with a bloke telling us if we mix basic elemental minerals together, elements, metals, copper, zinc, carbon, CO2, gases, organic, natural, universal creator, given as the procreators that we are, and we can allegedly make some water of life. And YouTube took the liberty of deleting it, and there's a lot of slate about Keshe and that he sold tickets to the moon and this, that, the other. But if they are, I want to know.
Right to him.
Wow. I'd pinch of salt for me, because campaigns and psyops. But if they are decontaminating, then and they are using a liquid substance, then I'm not sure what that might be. Pure bleach, the hydroxide peroxide formulation, whatever. But there is a a way of I think alchemically going forward, and since Isaac Newton and his passing, I don't think there's been anybody ever alchemically wise further on than that, which means to me that the institution and the academic side have found out everything they desired to and possibly could, and answered all of their questions at the end of the mid 1800s with the passing of Isaac Newton. So we've got a lot of alchemic answers, simple. The silver water proves that as well, the copper, and the way that we've delivered some of the findings that have been presented. So we will continue to chat and look at the room. It's just that I wanted to, before we got deep and into the sickness and the thousands and the numbers and the more negative side, I want to boost you up at the beginning and say, man's come along and said, you can make a bit of water here and it will save a life. So YouTube have deleted that video. We can't chat about it. And we're going to continue to chat about it, and I will get the forum on the .com made over the weekend, and we'll focus our private intentions there. I will give some of the GANs away to Kevin and Greg and a few of the tube scribes. I've answered some emails and said the trust will draw up paperwork and we'll give away the GANs bracelets as a loan item that is borrowed from the trust, and then you would return it back after borrowing it, and no sales, no profits, all above board, private, and we'll review it and continue to review it, and I'll go live and drink a cup of water of life, and we'll see what go on.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, that's what we'll
Fair
do.
play.
Oh, Anders will, somebody will, one of us in the trust will
I'm up for it.
yeah, in the foundation will do this, and
I could do with a bit of extra light.
it's a bit like, I'm going to go old school now, and just before we go to the room, I'm going to go, it's a bit like that lyric in the KLF, copyright lower frequency, justified ancients of Mu. Yeah, and it was a little rap bit in the chorus where he came on the mic and he was going something like, fishing in the rivers, fishing in the rivers, fishing in the rivers of life.
That's
yeah,
right.
Fishing, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be like Jeebus, the symbol, the fish, and we're going to be fishing in the rivers of the life, the water of life, biblical a little bit. We are fulfilled. The prophecies have been or are being fulfilled before your eyes, I would say. And now what we're going to start doing in this ministry of self, initiate, sovereignty, etc., law, is gonna embark on a legacy, and the legacy is shared universal law and knowledge, a language which is non-binding, not monosyllabic, and we've got a lot to look forward to. So that's the opening waffle from me. I'm going to see who's in the room, what the comments are, and then we'll just bounce now. I'd like to see how the scribes are, where they are, if you haven't put anything like that, and how you doing.
Can I just say a few names that have come in since we've been talking?
Yeah.
Nonna, hello darling, hope you're alright. Albert, Andy, 1, 2, 3, evening. Anders, of course.
He says that David is fully loaded, but what he doesn't know is I was cuddled with my queen Anne Marie on the sofa about 9:10 and thought I really could just stay here all night. But I did say this morning we'd come on and chat, and I was nearly falling, to sleep, and I realised I had a duty, and here I am. So if I am sounding, like that, that's fully loaded. Like some kind of Chicago pizza. Yes, it's because I love what I do, and as soon as I get here and we crack on, and Kev and I had a nice half-hour chat prior, so yeah, that got us in the mood.
We can't help it.
Yeah.
Well, we better go live. We've been chatting for 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Albert, yeah, see Nonna. Let's go top live chat.
No,
I see Andy 123 colloidal silver fogger machine. There you go. Then you can get
Yeah.
one. You can get one, and you could put any water in it. Any well, not any liquid, obviously. It's a fogger machine. What else? Humidifier. So instead of taking water out, it's putting it in. Humidification, and then you put in there the GANs. And Anders is doing that now, and he says that he's feeling pretty charged. So I'll get this done this
Nice.
weekend or next week. I said Kevin and Greg. There's a couple of emails that have come through, so I think there's about 14, 16 little wristlets or whatever bracelet things
Sweet.
to wear. The connectors are not silver, they're like some nickel alloy. This isn't a complaint, Anders. I'm just saying that Anne Marie's neck was a little bit like coloured when she'd worn it at night, and it had rubbed on her skin, and she had a little reaction because she's got sensitive skin. So anybody that I'm going to draw some paperwork up and put links in and so forth in an email for you to look at all of the technology and claims about it. So I'm just going to say we could do with putting some tape or masking tape around them bits just while you test.
Or maybe they'll be able to get some stainless steel ones or something.
Yeah, that's it.
Replacements. I'm sure Anders knows he don't need bullshit from me.
Right, so some numbers then. I'm going to the coronavirus app just to get some numbers about what this global is happening.
Don't do it. Look, there's one in the room. Jerry's got it, for sure.
And which leads me on to Trump. I saw Donald Trump late last night on a newscast, gloating, kind of smug mode. If it was an episode of Red Dwarf and Trump was Crichton, he would be acting in smug mode, and that's what he was doing. He was portraying that America is strong and that they've reacted. They've got a good relationship with the. These were his words. We have a good relationship with the such and such team, and I don't know how many they've tested, but on Euronews and on RT and on all the independent international news channels that aren't American origin and money focused and Umbrella Corp of, the independent non-affiliated ones, they say that America's not tested as many as it could have, and therefore its numbers are low because they haven't moved through their own mass. The humans haven't been tested, so mans haven't been tested, so they haven't got high numbers. So he thinks that's a reflection on low infection rates, when if you don't test, you don't know.
Can I just, exactly. But can I just jump in there? I don't know if anybody else has seen it going around. Just specifically on this subject, there's a lot of posts going about basically saying there isn't even a test for it. So how are they testing anyway? Which I've been spotting them for the last few days.
What, for the flu? There isn't a test for the flu? For influenza?
For this...
COVID?
Yeah.
There you go. COVID-19, which is known as,
So I'm not saying it's true.
Corona.
I don't know.
Corona is... I don't know who gave it Corona, but I went into the Latin for you with the Corona and the crown, but... all right, so there's allegedly no... You display symptoms and they test you. Yeah, that's one way, I suppose. I heard a story that they said that the HIV treatment was quite similar, and I'm like, oh, okay then. As an antidote, as a possible remedy to the cure, along the lines of. So, anyone that wants to chelp in with any of them two that me and Kev have said.
Cocaine as well. Apparently, the other day I saw that cocaine killed the coronavirus.
Simple. Listen, viruses, Anders, and a horror master. I think Anders, if a horror master is about, I think we need to get him back on to explain about the GANs and what type of GANs. Anybody, when I say the Ministry of Self, if we, Anders, Kev, if we can get him on enough devices and a horror master put out there that we need to do an experiment, and anybody that we make this equipment now in preparation for, alongside the silver. I've got emails asking me if silver water will kill it. All I know, and I'm not licensed, I'm not registered and affiliated, I'm not allowed to give out medical and legal advice, and so I don't, and I will not, and I am not. But I am privately able to self-medicate and heal and use the creator given elements to alchemically soothe thy soul, which is what I've done. Water and silver, as you know, and mixed together, bringing out this silver water is it's the world's strongest antibiotic. And so, how do I prove that claim? Well, it's kicking arse on psoriasis, it's beat athlete's foot, and chesty coughs and infections and things, burns, scars, cuts. It just trumps it all. It's sorted out a great deal. Kev's been taking it. He can testify. Others have testified. So we know it's something good. And that,
the dogs I'll give it to.
Yeah.
I often put the electrodes in their water bowl for a few minutes. Yeah, they love it. They drink it differently. They can smell it.
Oh, you little beauty. Question number one. And when I ask you this question, you're automatically going to know where I'm going. But I'm sorry, I need to ask this. Brother Lyndon. Okay. Brother Lyndon told me this today, and he said it the other day. And you saying about smelling water has reminded me. So scribes, one's on the replay, please comment. Did you ever, can you, or have you been able to smell the rain before it rained? Like, you could smell it coming. Anybody? I'm not a weirdo. I've already asked, there's at least 5 people I know that can smell rain when it comes. It's not a weird thing, it's not anything nobody needs to be locked up for, sectioned, but there are ones out there that can smell the rain coming. It's like a metallic-y, muddy earth smell. So that's all I can explain it as. I, for one, am one that is able to smell when it's going to rain. Anybody in the room tonight, and Kev then, have you ever smelt the rain ever, or been
I have.
able
I
to?
think it's like almost like a wave of air being pushed ahead where it is raining, so it's picking up the earth smells and all sorts and carrying it sort of slightly forward of itself. But yeah, definitely. And metallics, it has got a metallic twang to it. I know exactly what you mean when you said that. So yes, I have.
Wow, the chat room is very busy. Right, I'm looking for Alan Blair while I'm going through this because I still haven't heard from him. But yeah, smelling the rain. Who we got? Andy Greggs. Yes, smelled the rain. Samantha. Yes. Anders. Yes. Jerry. Yes. Look at them go.
Samantha.
And then the warm summer smell after rain is right. Hold that. Stay there. Stay right there. When was the last time you smelled that smell of rain? For me and Lyndon, about 2 to 3 to 5 years, I reckon. It's been a long time since I've smelled the rain coming. Lyndon's a fantastic indigo child man, son, etc. And initiates. There we go. And he's got a broad intellectual way of thinking, and some of the things he says and how he thinks, it's just like, oh yeah, I'll ask me scribes that. He's coming on for a chat, and he's got water, aqua, ions, energy, 5G, all of this stuff. So we were having a private chat today, and I thought I'll pre-warn you. This is the type of stuff he's into, and I wanted to know, 1, could you smell it? Have you smelt it? And 2, when was the last time you smelled it? A long time ago. Can't remember from Sam. Yes, Sam. See.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's just chat. This is what we're here for. The ministry of selves, noticing the environment changing, the clouds.
Well, I tell you what. For me, it'd be over 12 years, because that's how long I've been afflicted badly, at least. And then before that, I was outside, so it would have been at least that long ago. I can recall when I used to say we worked outside and in the woods on site, all sorts of things. So that's how long it is for me. There you go. I'll shut up now.
No, carry on. It's your chat time too. Crack on. Crack on, brother.
Yeah, that's the last time it would have been for me.
Andy walks dogs in the woods and lands smell all the wonderful smells.
Oh, yeah.
He's put Jerry dud a day before I got the flu.
No, that smells like wet grass to me.
He's got the flu. He hasn't got...
No, he hasn't. He's definitely got coronavirus.
He's got the flu. Poor G.
Bloody coronavirus, all the same thing. Just call it what it is. Don't be scared. Jerry, shout out the window to the neighbours. Tell them, mate.
Nonna, smells like wet grass to me. Thank you.
Streams in summer, yeah, Jerry.
Wet grass, earthy smell, yeah, I get that, that's similar. So, the smell of, yes, the rain, it's been a long time. Drifting from the point, let's go
Smell
to...
of dog shit. Anders, you don't want to come round here, mate. Jesus Christ.
Cheese and rice, never take the
Oh.
Saviour's name in vain.
Oh, don't give me all
You've
that.
said
Me and him are on
numbers.
first name terms, mate. Am I about it? We're mates.
Numbers, here we go. It's allegedly about 144,729 on this realm. As of 15 minutes ago, these numbers are on that coronavirus app. I could put it in the room so you can see.
We call it Jerry disease.
No, we don't. He's not going down there. He's not going down like that.
Okay, all right. Take over.
It says 5,385 allegedly dead. I don't know. I'm just looking at a website. You know, these are just numbers here, but they represent souls and infected ones allegedly.
Is this worldwide?
Yeah, across the realm.
Right.
So yeah, 144,729 infected, 5,385 allegedly dead, and 69,586 allegedly in recovery mode or recovered, and 69,758 are currently sick. The top 10 infected in order of highest infected going down to lowest infected. The top 10 presently countries is China with 80,797 alleged. You know, we've got to say alleged because I don't know anything. I'm just going off the media and the portals and, you know, what the world stage is, you know, showing us. So China 80,797, Italy 17,660, Iran 11,364, South Korea 7,979, Spain 5,232, and as of tomorrow, Spain, Madrid, Valencia, they have declared an emergency, a state emergency. And what did I write down here? I put a note somewhere. What did I put? Wales is there. Spain state emergency. So they got the second highest infection after Italy, but there it says here that there are 5. It's not quite true. That was the media. I just made notes, so that doesn't see. You know, Iran has 85 dead just from today. Bless them. R.I.P. So. Let me carry on. Germany 3,675, France 3,665. I hear Belgium's taking some harsh measures and is basically just shut everything. United States 1,826. Look at that. See, and how big a landmass is it? You know. Yeah. Let me just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many more? 8 then have I read, so I need to give you 2 more after America to make 10 because I lost count. And Switzerland then 1,139. Norway would be number 10 if I've got this right, 995. You've got Sweden and Netherlands both with 800s. Denmark 800, United Kingdom 798, so we must be about 15th on the realm list, so I'll stop there. It's a fast moving episode is all I'll say. Yeah.
Are you surprised, really?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was flights coming in and out. None of that was stopped. There was people going, well, I've just come in from Italy, Milan and stuff. I just walked straight through, no checks, nothing. It was, so, you know, no surprise, really, but anyway. Shadow. Vendetta.
Quinn can also feel the electricity before a storm.
Yeah,
It's a buzz.
definitely.
Easy. It's just going down now, see. Vendetta, you've not missed a lot, no, just a bit of data, some numbers. I've gone through. The beginning might be quite interesting, relevant. I'd just quickly skin back at the beginning sometime, but we talked about Shadow, yes, hello brother, yeah. Yeah, we're going to get some Albert saying momentum is building up to the UK because they have closed down GPs and they're scaremongering and saying, basically isolate, contain and stay at home and don't go near old elderly. I'm going to say old people, but the elderly man's trying to speak properly. Being tired's hard sometimes with, eyes on you. Forgive me, soldiers at ease.
60s and over.
Yeah, they seem to not be able to deal with it well. So it looks like there could be
underlying conditions don't help and blah blah blah. They're more susceptible, but just as they are to the flu. So the normal flu.
We could be just the fact that we're an island, and that because we're an island, times like this, you appreciate being an island, don't you? Because you are surrounded by waters, and it's very hard, other than the planes, as you're saying, for the infection to get in. But there's just I'm not believing anything, and we've seen
I don't know
errors and emissions before. So
you just got to read what you can into it, can't you? What's going on? So yeah, you're right, mate. You're right. It is pretty slack compared to other countries.
Which we're grateful for, in some ways, and it's embedded like with the Prime Minister Boris coming out saying, yes, it's in the containment field. We have it in containment. I'm like, well, the word containment tells my brain, my tiny little brain here, that you've got it in a box. Yeah. And now it's in another stage. Hell. What's this second stage called? I forget. I've heard it a million times, and now it fails to come to the front. Containment and
delays.
Delay. Yeah, delay. That might be the one. And then we've got the international and Anglo-Saxon, Great Britain, mans and scientists, academics here now worrying for their own lives. So they're saying this is when you hear the good, direct, honest, genuine information. When the ones that advise are having their lives threatened, they won't beat around the bush. They'll tell you just what they think and what they need to do, and they'll advise because they're also in the firing line. There's no bunker or deep underground military base for you. You're out on top, in the battlefield as it actually is, and so they want to live. So they'll tell and advise the most strictest and accurate ways of containment and management and effective social care and etc. And these teams and Cobras and they're saying that the other countries and realms around the realm have acted more militantly, for a better word, in the battle, and they've moved their troops and posses and battle groups all over and closed stuff down and been quite forthright. They've prevention is better than cure, is what my grandma drilled into me, fam. Yeah. And I am at that. My rule of thumb when I'm out there is prevention. If in doubt, chicken out. I've changed since I was a youth. I never had these all my life, but of late they bode well. So with the government and health and our assets and academies and elderly, and just for the sake of the money, they can't afford to shut stuff down because they'll lose too many billions. But they're then saying, oh, it's because of, it's if it comes in the summer and whatever, it'll backlash in the winter and it'll the NHS and everybody will be dead. So we have to do this. It's I listened to this and then when I heard Boris and Trump say, to the science, listen to the science behind, since I've said Lado in the 1850s there, Newton, Isaacov and etc. There was been they smashed everything. They gave all the answers for energy, from what I've seen in the 1850s. We did everything. All of it was done, finished, answers, kaput. Even the Philosopher's Stone, I argue, all of the archaeological things that we're finding out now, and the true meanings of these coded books. They know everything. They had it all. And this is the monarchy when she sent out, and that's why she awarded Elizabeth the QE2 awards, knighthoods and scholarships and so forth to the ones MBEs and these other things in the Privy Club, because they come back from their Eastern be the beast East, and they come back with the knowledge and the gnosis, and they pass it on. They archive it and go, yes, blood and stones and angels and demons and unicorns and pharaohs and all this. It's like Mary Poppins, a bit dark acid version there for you. Sorry, scarab beetles and claws and whatnot, but they know this, and they have the answers. And if Anders can come from Sweden and say the man from Iran, who's wow, it's just so random. But that's how Gaia, the universe, and connections work. I'm here by accident, Kev, and I'm sure you are. I apparently should have been a criminal and locked up when I was 20, and the key thrown away, according to everybody that knew me when I was a youth. And here we are trying to help folk and work for the consciousness. So this wasn't planned.
Yeah, this is a really strange outcome.
This is a weird trip, brother. How did we get here? It's like something out of human traffic where they're having that.
Probably because we've been through all the other shit. We've been on that side of it all.
And others.
On this side of it all.
But the scribes as well, those with the channel, those with the voice, not just Kevin and I, anybody that's come on and had a chat, that's chatted, that's spoken, that's written, that's voiced, that's defended, protected, procreated, etc. Then kudos to you. How did it happen? When you was a youth, was you confident? Did you have, knowledge like you do now, and the wisdom that you've attained? Yeah, I didn't go looking for it, but the shit hitting the fan, and a judge and a court and people saying, alleged law, which is not law, saying you can't see your kid, your son, your asset, your daughter, whatever, because the law of England says when a man and a wife separate, the woman is the resident, domestic resident parent there. So we realised quickly that we are not pairs that rents, and we are father, mother, son and daughter, sired, loined asset, etc. So property. One of the initiates has been in touch with the school about inoculation jabs, and they've mentioned in a notice to them removing presumed consent and not authorising the needle and the injection, arbitrary injection of metals and whatever. These are their own words, not mine. I've only got Alfie Evans and older Hay stuff coming out of that army for information on these inoculations and whatnot, but he put in that letter to the academy and the principal trustee at the academy that the word property, and they questioned him and was like, your son, property, is this right? It's not a house, a car. And he's like, well, I'm not obliged to school you in law and the, what did he say now, the verbatim words that we use and the reasons for that. But he says if you go care to study it and look it up, you'll find out is in the Bible you have property and rights and access. And he says, I'm a man of the book there, and the Bible is my law. So as the Bible and the creator, and as I am a procreator, that's my property. He says, yes, it is. And property, he says, rights are property. And he had to educate the school, nicely and whatnot, into why we speak the way we do, or we converse and instruct and authorise the way we do. And others that are in a principled, 100 grand a year job, salary, educating, the sheep's assets, kids, and they don't understand this chatter and process, and it gets the backup. He said he met some heckles. I'll let you know, fam. Yeah, interesting.
I was just looking at. If I just see. No, meant so right. Yeah, nothing after accident. Like they put, who knows, mate? Who knows? Let's hope it's something good, but chances are, on balance, looking back in history,
a forced vaccination and monetary reset, in my opinion. Sister Nonna, wise words. I did say on the budget, it looks like there's going to be there's a coded message for a recession, and how they're propping it up. They're propping up the monetary system with the billions there, 290 billion. And then for the worldwide realm banking infrastructure, Wall Street, the Wailing Wall and Bond Street, and then it was the Nasdaq FTSE as well, I suppose, all of them, three. Madness. And then, the reset, the stars tell us that, Santos has told us that, Jordan's told us that, a lot of self-scholars, astrotheologists, and they've pointed to this, speakers and seers. So there is a reset. Calendars, Mayans, etc. that we found there, Aztecs, and So we can't really deny it. It was a magnetic pole shift. It was the millennium bug in 2000, wasn't it? But there has been for the last 10, no, 20 years, an air of. So, it's kind of annoyed me in a way, all of this chirp. But now this alleged infection, all these red dots on maps, and it's a bit Hollywoodified. It does look like Hollywood has been preparing us with the day after tomorrow and Armageddon, Deep Impact, and all of these pandemic type 12 Monkeys. That was a good one, wasn't it? With the cutter something, shutter, stutter. I forget now, but yeah, Cutter Kane. Somebody Kane. What was it? Character. Somebody. Yeah, I love that film.
I can't remember that.
Madness.
Now you're pushing me there.
Yeah, I know I'm too. Yeah, but anyway, it's like we've been prepared by Hollywood and the media, and even the Simpsons have got an episode where a man in China coughs some phlegm and germs into a box and seals it and sends it to America, and they open it and all get infected and start getting sick. I'm like, are you shitting me? Again, Groening MG with his cryptic cartoonery. Madness. I'm not giving it any credence. I'm just saying that there's things on Tube already going, look, have you seen this? I'm like, wow, much love to you for doing it. But reset is definitely there. Floods, mud floods.
Wow.
12,000 years ago there was a flood. We are the Abrahamic tribes of Noah. And every landmass, continent, civilization has got a reference to a flood at some point, haven't they? So go on, Kerr.
Yeah, maybe this is it, or there's that other thing been doing the rounds about all these troops have gone into the States, into Italy, and there's rumours that I've seen stories, people say the Vatican's going to get charged, basically raided and all sorts of things. Very interesting, but as I say, you got to take it all with a.
Well, where's the source? I would like to know where the sources for that information come from. Yeah, because
I'm sure it was on FB somewhere today and yesterday. I think probably one of the page. I'd probably be able to find it or find them. Definitely saw it more than once on different pages.
I can smell, as we were saying about the rain, I can smell and feel something. I know it's not much cop and it's non-tangible, and it's kind of based on faith, but I don't know if there's any vibers out there vibers. No, yes, of course, it's the right word. You vibrate, feeling the vibe. Before rabbits was invented and such things as battery commodities for the ladies' pleasure. Bloody hell, they were still invented then. It was just I was a wee boy and I wasn't aware, was I? So.
Oh, Mr. Jet Arameter, you use your tongue prettier than $10 whore.
You can pick up when you're little, when there's a bad man around or something. You feel when you're little, again going back to smelling the rain, but a different one. You feel the presence of, and you can tell mostly, or just looking at somebody when you're little. By the sound of their voice, the smell, the way that they're dressed, or it might have just been my family that had a suspicious, it wasn't an everyday occurrence, but sometimes as a teenager, and when you start getting out on the street and drinking, and you start experiencing the things that you shouldn't, but you do, and you can get into some trouble, but you keep yourself street smart, and there's some of us that can detect and see, and. I'm vibrating, lol, Mensa. I am vibrating now, and I know you are. Lots are quantitatively on the etheric, ways. Well, the ways I put things sometimes. Metaphysically, okay, not physically, not material girl, yeah, with your pointy black bras like Madonna's. Watch with your Julie. No, he don't take care of much. It'll be all over now. I've set him up. Look, I've set him up.
Oh, don't. I'm trying to behave myself. He's getting told off. Lisa, just while I've been noticing, Lisa, evening. Benjamin, how you doing? Stephen Moore's indoor house. Who have I missed? I'm sure I saw a third name in there. Lisa twice. That's probably what happened at my age. A senior moment.
Looking in the chat room.
Yeah, it's having a right go in there. It's good.
Anders, how? So Lisa, hello. Much love, sister. Why have we? Let's get you sorted out there. What? Bosh, I can do some admin on here as well. Yeah, they were talking about a house, Michael Caine, and there's a guy in there now. There's a geezer in there now. I think, yeah, that's what he means. There's a geezer in there now called, I've lost it now, Jimmy Page. Mr. Barker. Who's Mr. Baker? We'll be proud. Has anybody stocked up? I went into Morrison's earlier. I'm not advertising, it was really a Morrison's. I'm just being factual. I should have said supermarket, but I didn't. Not in allegiance with them, but I went to that shop. And it's just so funny because it was in the market section, it's all the fresh bits and the vegetables and the organics and yes. And I coughed, but because I was wearing day glowy luminous vest, work gloves, gear, from the busyness of my private enterprises, etc. And 5 to 7, everybody just turned around that we could hear or that was near me, and there was all scowling, and I just went, it's okay, I smoke, I have no temperature, I assure you, I'm just unhealthy. And they all just like, and chuckled, and I actually saw them. One of the blokes went, and he was that, he actually breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah. The smell of shit filled the air.
And I was just, no, I didn't have any coffee.
That's why they've all got toilet roll.
I went and got a few essentials, just no toilet rolls. No, I refuse. I will not. After a headline like that, I can't be seen carrying toilet rolls. I think I'm one of them freaks, since that was printed. We daren't buy any, just in case.
I'll post you some in singles, Dave, so nobody knows.
I'm having to go to various takeaways and take napkins and having to buy takeaways.
There's loads of boxes of tissues on the shelf. That's a ridiculous thing. Toilet roll's gone. Boxes and boxes of cheap tissue. As the owner pointed out earlier.
Yeah. I just went in, I thought, what do I need? I thought, I get some apple juice. I like my juices in the morning, and I'm a man of principle. Strong coffee, followed by sugary, watery juice, one of your 5 a day juice, not just a fructose, cancerous drink. And I don't know about you lot, but if you're creatures of habit or, I bought everyday value ones, and stocked up on bits and bobs, some freezer stuff and that. I thought, well, yeah, there's no panic. No, I don't think the supply chain is going to crumble or anything's going to happen for another week yet. The next week, we'll see, what Cobra.
Supermarkets are loving it, mate.
It's like Christmas shopping for them.
Well, they're just getting all that old stock, fucking shit's all gone. Get it out. People are buying any shit, they're not taking any notice.
Let me move you, put you here. There we go.
Quickly reduce everything you put in the tins by 10 grams. Make even more money.
Yeah, Matt in Sheffield was saying to me the other day that I've been in touch with him, and he's doing as best as he can be. I didn't dwell on all of the comments and bits and bobs, but he's doing what he can do, and it's not nice. I'm not going to reveal his private family stuff, but it's not nice in these times when somebody's passed, number one, and you're dealing with the passing of that loved one and soul, and then you have like I am and other dads out there separated from the mum and the assets and son and daughters. So then if mum was to no longer be here, other family members, because dad separated, may try to take in the on the off chance the offspring, the young stars the family may try to say it's okay, we'll look after them now. And so I've got Matt to man's got rights, dads have got rights, so I don't know how it will pan out, but the children need to, sons and daughters need to want to live with dad or auntie, uncle, whoever it may be that is insinuating that there's going to be a a covenants and a governance with them and a protection until, and you know, Dad hasn't been around, so there's no need for Dad to be around. And anybody like that, you email David at splspro.com, because that's where I stepped in to start the Foundation Trust and speak to you on YouTube, because when I found out that I'd paid 20 grand over 2 years and had a barrister and gone to a Crown Court to argue, you know, law, what I thought was law, and I was basically taken the piss out of by a Ponzi rich toff that's got a certificate and letters after the name, and basically, because I'm classified as a belligerent militant combatant in an infantile state, they took the piss and I didn't get to see my blood. I got a court writ. After 2 years, I had to jump through hoops, go to appointments, go to meetings, test my blood, get my hair tested, everything, and for nothing, just because Mum made claims. There was no validity in anything, and if I could have just gone, what we know now, affidavits and the power and the representation, the equity, the trust, the correction, the barratry, the personage, oh my days, it had been done in a week. You know what I mean? So that's why I got in here, not for a pot of gold, not for the CQV, and not to make videos. But then when I found out the truth, that's how it is. That trust got started on Facebook in 2015.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what they say, hindsight, it is the perfect science, Dave.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I was just going to say to Anders, he's talking about Windsor Castle. Yeah, it's about 10, 15 minutes from me. Anders, you've been that close, have you?
Son of me.
It's all Stephen. I thought there was another. Like Samantha,
I can't believe I said the supermarket name. I really shouldn't. You know, I hate doing that. It's just
other supermarkets are available.
I'm tired. Yeah, I'm just tired, and I tell you everything.
This channel has no affiliation with anything.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
No advertising agreements have been entered into. Neither myself or David.
I don't particularly like them because they was the supermarket that actually customers had their point system hacked into their accounts, and they rang up and said to that chain of supermarkets that they've got no points, and the supermarket said, well, that's because your accounts have been hacked and you had an easy password. It wasn't a high encryption one, it was 1 to 8 sequential. They guessed it. Because you've got a weak lame password, we're not giving you your points back. One of the rules and terms and conditions of our point system is that you create an account with a valid password, and they're like, a valid password 1 to 8, no, that's not valid, because it needs to contain, and they didn't do what they was instructed, so they got easily hacked. And so to some extent, but no, they're massive, they've got millions in profit, shareholders. Give them the points back, you tight arses.
That's ridiculous.
And that's at Morrison. So I'm not. There you go. There's a bit more. So if I accidentally advertised
you've done it again.
No. But if I accidentally advertised,
sure it wasn't safe phrase.
If I accidentally advertised them, which I did, then I've just on purposely de-advertised them by making out that they didn't help at Crimbo with the claims of, and they used rule and policy.
So the headline is Morrison's are bastards. That's what we got here.
Unless they can prove that they gave them points back. Yes, sustained, my good man.
Yes. Then an apology will be issued.
Not by us.
Yeah. Bollocks them.
They just delete us. They'll just delete it and it'll be gone. And then you find if this channel gets deleted, there is SPLS Pro backup that I've got in the background needing serious admin and management, but it's not just a backup channel, it will be sorted out once we've finalised a few more of these administrative steps. I've got some bite-sized bits to put in so we can go over trust basics, types of trust, testate or will and testament, principles, these kind of things, principal trustee, and 10-minute videos with 10 in a section, and then a next level, 3 levels if necessary, and then on to the next. So beginning, intermediate, and advanced. So we go slowly, I've learned, and work it up across the parameters
You
of.
can't rush it. You can't rush it.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
She was
wrong. She was wrong.
tossing pancakes.
I just Mr. Mentor says double points name. Yeah, I think. Do you know what, Mentor? I think I've got a feeling he's on a non-disclosure and he's done some sort of deal in the background.
Double points for Dave. Oh, what the points, mate? They don't make prizes. Not if you get hacked. Oh wow. I'm sorry for my sins. That is a sin.
Shadow made me laugh as well. Just back here, it says going on about people, this fucking chaos at the shops. Said they're buying stage 4 cancer and paracetamol. Absolutely right. Well put. Beautifully put.
Who we got?
Worst stuff you can use, all that sanitising shit.
Vodka, alcohol, some moonshine on go.
Soap.
Yeah. I think though, if the GANS is got the validity, then yeah, I really would like a nice microscope now, just to be able, not because I'm qualified to use one, but yeah, to film and record stuff and actually the technology, as we said in that private chat.
They're easy enough to get, cheap enough to get. To plug in your laptop or your phone and that, mate.
Yeah, a good high spec one, like and then.
Oh, if you're going to be a tart.
No, just for the trust to use, not for research development. Yeah, I know you can get those other ones, but if we could actually set up, an independent academy that would be lovely, which is an open university, which is really open and a university, but as we speak, not we speak it like this, but it's all closed and secret. We need to be able to.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, if you could bring in, qualified people, the shit you could do would be brilliant.
We are all qualified, though. That's the point.
Well, what I mean is to get the whole thing rolling so everybody knows what they're doing. But it'd be fascinating. Yeah, that'd be. Yeah. To do something like that.
We then would do what they were doing in the 1800s, which was you've got these names of Marconi and Edison and Warncliffe and Tesla and Westinghouse and there's too many to mention. These names like Faraday. There's millions of Newton. Einstein. What's in one bollock? I can't think of his Einstein. Yeah, one Ein and Stein. Ein is one and Stein is ball. Is it one ball? That's his nickname. One ball Einstein. So anyway, digressing, bit of humour there. Those men were all private. They were private. They weren't associated with the University of the Crown of Babylon or anything, working for in association partnership. They were just kicking ass and they were releasing it for all to see, non-filtered. And then we have this issue with the aliens in Roswell being reported. And if you just bear with me, it ties in with viruses and global events because it was a global event. Now, if I am to believe that for the first time in humans' history, mankind's history, they say, not I'm believing, but they say it was the first ever crash, 1947, Roswell, New Mexico, weather balloon, satellite, aliens, and they cleared it up rather fast for a first time. You're telling me that some government cobbled together a rag team of the A team and said, we've got an issue. What is it? I don't know, but we need it cleaning up. Well, who have we got? I don't know. It's the first time it's ever happened. They wouldn't have scrambled such a excellent and detailed covert recovery of whatever it was, and the management of the media was global. So immediately, for the first time, there was this political, hoo-ha, and it was on a newspaper front page all across the realm, the same story. So that tells you that there was already a control system in place for the first time, allegedly. So that didn't happen by chance. So this shit's been going on a long time, you see, time. And that's
they're really good at this.
Yeah, and that's around about the end of the Second World War, RIP again. It's mans have died to keep this landmass safe, and then we've let let it be usurped and infiltrated by not just invisible foreign tiny microbes, which we can be forgiven for because we can't see them or contain them, Boris and co. But we've been invaded by dark, demonic, usurping, psychopathic, vampiristic energy waveforms that Ike is right in some extent, but the practicality of it doesn't really help us in our movement with legal claims, reptilian.
As mental as what you just said sounds, it's true. It is so dark what's going on. It's mental. It really is cabal shit. Fucking really.
Did anybody see the suitcase that went from red to green? Yes or no? Come on, man.
I saw a file go from red to green. I didn't see the budget suitcase, the budget case go from red to green.
He's carrying the budget case red, and he walks past the car, and then it goes to a green case. He's got a case in his hand there, in his right arm. Sunni, is it? Yeah, Chancellor of the Exchequer. And he's walking down, and he passes that car, and it goes green.
Oh yeah, I saw it change colour, but I didn't think it was the case.
It is, yeah, because it's about a green budget, and because the budget is now green. I'm like, what kind of coded brother there mentioned it, and I'm like, hang on, this needs looking into. This can't be true. Not on national TV. Not after the flat Earth and everything else. This is too much for me. Openly coded Masonic messages, perhaps Kabbalistic. I just thought, let's have a look, and I did see it. I thought, is it just them having a laugh? No, they don't do that just for a laugh. The media don't have a laugh. Oh, no. They're deadly serious. So, yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, big love, Andy. Don't know what to say, mate. I'm really sorry, mate. I really feel for you, for what that's worth at this time, brother. If there's anything you need, mate, or you just want to chat, always around, mate.
Oh, go on. What's happening, Kev?
Just a few comments to Andy about the loss. A lot of comments.
I'm not with it. I don't know what go on.
We'll get with the times, brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah. Oh,
down near the end, right at the end.
Yeah.
And then go back a bit. See it. There's loads of them. Andy's.
I'm going now. Yeah, that's it. My mum had to register her death in blue fountain pen, and had to register her death in. Oh, sorry about that. Well.
Yeah. Admiralty. Yeah.
Ink significance is that what he's on about? What does blue? What did they give you? Hang on a minute. Stop everything. Rewind selector. They handed you a blue pen and they said what? They gave you a pen to sign and it was in blue. And what did you say you wanted a different?
Blue fountain.
Did you try and yeah? So
not even a biro, proper one, proper blue ink job. Have that.
Oh, got you. I see that there. Yeah, and then
I've got you right on the C there, boy.
We can't argue with that, can we then? Look at that. Thank you for that. Very sorry.
But what are you going to do, mate?
And thank you for the...
Be honest. Yeah. And what are you going to do? Go, no. I mean...
I don't sign. Am I obliged?
There's enough trouble going on, isn't there?
Well, I'd say... you could say... I'll say that you could say... I'd like full disclosure on the certification that I'm signing. What exactly am I signing? Is this a certificate, a bonded instrument? Is it a securitized asset? What position am I currently assumed to be in? Am I some kind of legal trustee at this moment and not the beneficiary of which I would be to an estate? Are you, and I'd give them an hard time actually. Why have I got a blue pen? I'm not having a go at you, brother. I'm just saying, but you can say, before I'm going to sign this, right, and again, Kev, bail me out if I get this wrong. Let's go from the top. The signature is on behalf of the legal person. There you are, signing for the fiction estate as the signature. And then you have an allograph, which would be on behalf of another. Yes, another entity, not the other name. I've got it right. Look. And then you got, and then you've got the autograph, thumbprint, lowercase, particular shade of ink, maybe red. To denote the blood, man, natural, not purple sovereignty, not blue admiralty, and then you've got your thumbprint and your autograph, So you've got your signature, you've got your allograph, and you've got your autograph, and then you can sign with reserved liability and under duress. So you don't need to do that with an autograph, because in that realm you're honourable and you've got a conscience. But in legal, you're not honourable and you haven't got a conscience. You've got liability. Legal is the undoing of God's law. So Kev, have you got out you want to expand on?
Nothing really to expand on, Dave.
Have you used them? Have you ever used any of those positions? Do you know the benefits to and from? Then you've got it. You're dexterous. Yeah, you are. I've seen it. You know. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been beneficiary in a will. I'm beneficiary, obviously, of the person, which is the thing I play with most.
Oh, is it now?
No, just that. Well, you know. Well, I do. I have to use it quite a lot. Unfortunately, you're just dirty, David. That's all I can say. I discussed it with you this evening. Yeah.
Product of my environment, me.
I do it to everybody. Anne's brilliant now. She even says the C word occasionally. It's great. Usually at me,
Kent.
which is deserved.
The K word, Kent.
I was going to say...
allograph,
yeah.
autograph,
Andy, mate, don't worry about it, mate. It's nothing.
No, it's not.
It's nothing to get, you know, you've got more things to worry about than that, mate. That's just the way it is.
Standard
Don't worry about
procedure.
that, mate. Sort your other shit out, mate. Don't worry about that.
The only reason I said what I said then is to give others, because he's brought it up, chance, ideas and terms of phrase, and, I conditionally accept that I'm required to sign this, and I'd like to know some answers to some questions first. You know, we're allowed to do that. You might not get any.
I'm just...
And,
no, but obviously he was in a 2 and 8 and all the rest of it. Obviously, it still is. So
non-compass,
shit's different.
Your non-compass mentis, especially when you're in the what is it? If you lose somebody close to you like that, I'd call it post-trauma PTSD. It's similar
shock,
to
loss, grief. Oh, what a maelstrom of feelings and emotions.
I condole, I'll say again in case it was missed, my condolences, brother, and lots of love to you and all the fam. May your mum's soul watch down upon us in these stark times where we got to rise up to the challenge. I'm sure your mum will be very proud of you, Andy. Thank you for being a scribe and for interacting and sharing as openly as you have done. Anything I can do to help, or Kev, let us know. We've assisted brother Alan of the Stanley clan in his time with his mum passing of late, so we are getting a lot. We, like me and Kev say, we're going to need counselling soon now, aren't we, brother? Someone's going to have to give us a shoulder to cry on. Not that it's just we deal with a lot.
Even the dogs have had enough of me. Telling them everything.
No, it's not on anybody in particular, but after some time, there's a lot of mans out there that have
it's been going on a long time, hasn't it?
There's a lot of our clansmans out there that are suffering and going on the hardship, citizenship, authorship, judgmentship, everything, all these ships out there, and we're being shipped around, and we're broken. I've had a good cry at one point or two in my time, and we do need to, as men especially, the ladies, they are the masters at crying, I'm afraid. No, some of the ones I've been with have been brilliant.
I'm not surprised they cried.
that was just when I was DJing.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to go and get a drink, so I'm going to mute the mic so that it doesn't sound like I'm crashing the car again.
Oh, when you're doing your Mr. Frosty and making ice, like the other week, and you're...
Yeah, exactly, so I'm going to mute the mic. I'll be back in a second.
And it was just the dog walking across the floor. It wasn't Mr. Frosty.
No, that was the dog the other night.
All right, Kev.
You thought I was tap dancing. See you in a minute.
Right, let me read the room. Anybody has got anything to say, concerns? How is your street, your neighbourhood? What are the academies saying? Are they open where you are? Are they looking at closing? Do you think we should close and now all self-isolate? Do you think the scientific officers, the chief medical and science officers of your advisory councils and land masses, are they on point? Is the World Health Organization somewhere, like the centre of disease control. These places genetically modifying and splicing, making inoculations, injections, etc. So, has your academy, said anything? Got any plans? What are we going to do with our assets if they are off? And home ed is where we'll be. This is the first time for many, I'm sure. Home ed. So yeah, I'd like some comments, feedback while Kev's away. Input from you, and I'll skim the room as well. Thank you. To anybody that's lost anybody, or that's in that area, someone that's sick, we just say sorry, and our thoughts are with, and we wish all is going to be good. Thoughts and prayers from Menza. Yes, agreed. And Anders with a link. Thank you, Anders. Shadow, I love the way you talk about money and finances. You are very astute with your position, the overstanding, king standing, the finances. A very special brain, Shadow. I watched a film the other day where they were taking the brain out of man and putting it into some kind of robot, something Horizon, or I don't know now. It was late, and I wish I hadn't watched it, to be honest. What a film that was. I'd like to do that with you, Shadow, and occasionally swap it with my own. You are a gifted man. Black pen, the black pen. Easy now. Where are we going? Saith 7, how are we doing? Good evening, I missed you.
I'm back.
Alright. Hello Benjamin, I missed you there as well. I'm just going to check in the room, just
Oh yeah, safe. See that? Evening.
Undue privilege of convey and see. Yes, Quinn, I missed that one. I'm almost very fast in here tonight, Kev.
Yeah, I know.
Very chatty.
It's good.
Equity will take jurisdiction to avoid multiplicity of suits. Yes, it will. Indeed, it will, Shadow. Bosh, it shuts it down. Oh, wow. That's it, I'm up today. There we go. And what have you stocked up on? If you haven't got any news, updates, concerns, questions, anything about the academies, your sired young stars, if you've stocked up and you've been out already, and what is your top 3 items, not including bog roll? For me, it's coffee, it's brown sugar, and rice. Yes, I'm a happy man now. We'll be all right. We'll live through it, girls. I've told them. I don't like coffee, Yank says. I just like the smell. Then she saw 3 pallets of coffee there. What? I'm joking. I am joking.
Only 500 people, Anders.
What's he on about, Kev?
Wonder, they're kind of a crowd bigger than 500 people at the moment in Sweden.
Backy Skins and Lighter, Menza. That's brilliant. Oh, I forgot about that. Backy Skins and Lighter. Oh, I like that. Albert says gold. And 500, yeah, I'm with you, Kev. I heard that as well. I'm just...
Yeah, I didn't have a link, Queen. Actually, I got in the kitchen, made myself a drink, and I stood there for a few minutes, and I went, oh shit, because I'm listening to it, it's still coming through the headphones. Oh yeah, I'm meant to be in the front room broadcasting. I lost the plot there for a moment.
Nice.
For reasons known to most. It was funny, I was laughing at myself and sitting there listening away. I even went to talk at one point and I realised it was on mute. Oh dear, there you go.
So I'm just scanning and Anne-Marie just came in and said good night.
Alright.
She's gone now. So on deaf ears.
She had a little pre-bed sleep on the sofa.
Yeah, it's lethal, that sofa. It's just, it claims many a soul for some hours. It's your mine.
It's funny. Yeah, Anne said she came down at about between 12 and 1.
No, Anne's not been here. No, Anne-Marie. No, not your Anne.
I know, all right.
What?
My own story now. It's not all about you. Me.
Thought it was a setup. I'm live.
No, she said I was sat up, spark out, didn't hear a thing. She had to let the pups out. Not the pups anymore, really. But they are. So, yeah, I didn't know a thing about it.
You slept through.
Yeah, I remember waking up about 2 o'clock thinking, oh, bollocks, it's 2 o'clock. And I managed to go straight back to sleep. Normally it's, oh, here we go again. Be another hour for sleep or so. But yeah, I was out like a light. Quite nice for a change.
Which was nice.
What's going on?
What's MWLMXXX? Who are you? New scribe, I see. Let me read this.
New World Order.
UK to ban mass gatherings in a U-turn. Measure likely to come into effect next week, just as we suspected, yeah. It's going to hyper and get bigger because the numbers are too low to be realistic if this is indicative of what's happened in other countries, such as the ones I read out earlier. So it's Brother Lynn. That's who it is, Brother Lynn. How's it? Is the how's it, brother? Nice one, thank you. Marshall's coming to town. We will see. It's not unexpected, but there's not going to be any craziness, is there? Most mans will be in the house streaming box sets glued to their media devices. I dare say this is one of the easier times of history where man will quite easily take time off from being a forced slave and spend time at home with the family and find something to do, odd jobs, painting, and Kev.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm gonna love it.
Just spend it all staring at their devices. That's what will actually happen.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Everyone go online trying to shop, but there's nobody in the warehouses picking. Where's the Amazon man? He's at home like you are. All right, can't understand that. Where's the delivery man? Where's the Uber man? Where's everybody?
They've all been fried by 5G. Ha!
Yeah, it looks like there may be. I can tell you that I found evidence of agendas. And when I found out evidence of agendas, the worst one I found quite by far was eugenics, the eugenics program, and involving syphilis in South America and darker skinned family and the dirty, horrendous,
really nasty,
heinous. Yeah, and it's like there can only be a psychopathic agenda for some of the stuff that we found, and it's not even, you can't even laugh at it. It's that heinous and criminal. So we found out about the Pavlov effect. That was a weird one with a dog, was it, on the electric floor, and animals on the electric floor, and horrible testing such as. So I know that these lot make out that there are failings and errors such as, for want of better reference, BSE and the poor man that had to name that by dying of it, and finding out that way rather than the trustees doing their job. So, agendas, poisons in the food, cancers in the baby stuff. Was it cancers agents in some kind of baby talc? Yeah. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And so is a war.
J.
There's a war going off, yeah, and these lot do have an agenda, and we have evidences more so than ever. So we just wait and watch. Yeah, I don't believe anything. As we know, we've come to take things with a pinch of salt and rely on the substance over the form. And often from the government, media, public, they get mixed up a lot, don't they? Let's face it.
Just a little. It's all right, Dixie. Sorry.
It's all good.
Dixie's all sort of up and alert, staring at the door. Got the living room door closed, and just opened the door, and Casca's out there drinking water with Loki, the Siamese. They're both drinking at the same time.
Oh.
He's just gone back up. Well, I better just check in case you need to run out. No, he's on the bed.
I know what you mean now about when you were saying the electrodes in the water. Yeah, just giving the water a clean and I was thinking of
put it in there, but
yeah,
put it in their bowl. Put it in there for a few. I say they prefer it if I'm using it. If I've got any on my hands, they'll take it from my hand and try and give them a little bit of RSO actually. The Big T recently, just a little bit. With some pain relief. Seems to have helped her out.
Oh, bless. Yeah. Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Hips. Oops.
Dr. Phil, yeah.
Dr. Phil, oops. Dr. Phil, oopsie.
I'm going through quite a few personas at the moment, aren't I?
Sorry, yeah, it is the season.
What's he talking about, Philip?
Oh, I don't know about the test kits. I don't know where they said that they're going to struggle to get them out. There's
I say that I've seen a few posts around the last couple of days to the effect of there isn't actually a test for it, which is just interesting. I cannot confirm or deny that information.
Claims in Bedfordshire that they were going to be able to make a testing kit and it could tell you in 20 minutes if it's if you're effectively infected or not, and that'll be ready in August, so that's some time away.
Yeah, and then it'll be bollocks in August because it's buggered at 27C, isn't it?
Yeah, like I say, there is ways. There is an
if we're lucky, unless of course they keep the weather cold, then we're fucked.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse my French.
No, you're right. We are rubber ducked.
Cattle truck.
Oh, Keith Flint skin. That's what I say now. I'm a bit Keith Flint just because he's passed through of late, and it used to be Brassic Lint. My granddad used to say Brassic. I know the correct one, but now I've changed it to Keith Flint, just out of funniness,
Yes.
Homage. You was in another chat and someone else said that cancerogenic toilet roll clean hands. Look at Stephen go. Food is another way to poison and dumb down the masses, yes, by what we see in there and the lack of. It fills you up, but it gives you no nutrition, and it's full of cancerous items, and dead animals obviously are dead, and you're eating something that's dead. So as lovely as meat may taste to some, and and previously, and probably still does to me, if I was to eat at a barbecue, I dare say I'd enjoy that flavour. And I know some of you don't eat meat, and I'm not trying to make you feel sick, but it's this change of mind I've had, in a state obviously of the watching that Dominion and so forth, and having a think. But yeah, the masses, the food. If you eat live fruits, energetic ions, then stands to reason. I don't know if I could do what Josh did, and the liquids and everything that he, if you were sick and you wanted to get rid of candida, then yeah, I could do all of that. But I would like to get to where Josh and some others have got to, contentment with non-meat, or I'd like a farm where I could occasionally say a prayer and do the business, and at special times enjoy. But then again, if it's just a personal choice, isn't it? But food that we get from the supermarket, when I being out in Zante and small Greek islands, there is no Asda, Tesco, and these big ones that we have here. Let's get some other names in while we're at it then. See how many I can
It's
get in.
definitely on a non-disclosure.
And you go to the local whatever it is, Mr. M Happy Shop. That's what it is. And there are little chains. Obviously, you go on holiday, you see them yourselves, but nothing massive. And it's just wholesome things. There is poison and cancer there, obviously, but so you can get good stuff as well, which isn't so much genetically modified off a farm locally, and you feel lots better. You do actually feel, and you can still get hammered every night. And as long as you eat good food and nice water and juice, you can get extra hammered. I found. It's like,
Lynn.
you
So he says all the fruit and veg these days, unless you grow your own. But then, as we know, right, I was talking about this the other day, because they're spraying all this shit. Even if you had it in polytunnels, you'd have to have it sealed off to a degree and some sort of filtration. Otherwise, you couldn't control. And this is the problem I see.
Yeah,
I think this labelling of organics totally bollocks, really.
Yeah, because organic.
That's just my opinion.
Organic is affected by the chemtrail and the aerosol depletion of the tiny, what are they, atomized particles that are falling down. So Lyndon and I was having a chat. If there's any laser pen owners out there with options to go on wideband of the laser, you can put the laser out. When you shine it, you'll see all of the individual particles going past the laser beam. And you'll be surprised that to me it looks like there's hundreds of thousands of tiny little microscopic particles, which could be anything: fuel exhaust, mud, dirt, debris, natural erosion, skin. A mixture of elements. But I'm thinking there. Some of them. Me and Lyndon were chatting again, and I said, "Do you get any that glint?" I said, "A key element of metal is reflection, is it not?" So, aluminium and whatnot. So we said, "Yeah." Well, we was chatting about particles glinting, and there's quite a lot of them. So that's not organic matter because it reflects. So it could be wet matter, I suppose, with something oily. But it's we're looking. We're using our own little ways of the technology that we've got. But organic, if you've got organic, but it's a genetically modified mother trucker seed. So you've got your organic produce, but it's a GM bloody product, because what they haven't told you is, yes, it's perfectly organic. Yes, it's lovely. Yeah, it's Monsanto, finest, Terminator watermelon, seedless and everything. What? Shove that up your arse.
That's brilliant. Terminator watermelon from Monsanto.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
2020, baby.
That's put a smile on my face. The eyes are grinning as well. That's funny. Love it. Nice one, Dave.
It's all right. You're welcome. But my point is, they taste horrible. For one, they've ruined them. Anybody that likes a succulent, juicy melon, they don't tell you this on most of the products, but you got your organic stamp on it, but no GM stamp. No OMG, GMO anywhere.
I used to carry, when I used to be able to get out and go shopping, I used to carry all the codes with me, so you could look at all the different fruits and that, and know what had been grown and how it had been grown and all that. So I was buying,
Where'd you get them from?
Oh, they were doing the rounds on the net ages ago.
I missed this.
Yeah, there was like if your code ends in this, it means it was grown here and done this way, and it'd explain all the different codes, and so you could avoid buying all the moody ones that have been virtually lab grown, for want of a better term.
Okay. Some of the cheaper coffee, because I'm a coffee fan, addict, lover, and connoisseur.
You just buy beans and get a grinder.
Some of the beans, some of the cheaper coffee, the beans apparently they get black toxic mold on them when they're I don't know any brands or whatever, but cheaper brands are cheaper because they apparently have black toxic mold issues, and as we are in an area of toxicity at the moment, I'll link that in that. Has anybody ever heard of cheap coffee beans and toxic mold that grows on them, and they blend them up and clean them and treat them, and that's why it's cheap, everybody? I'm like, what? Really? Yeah. or
That
Agent
surprises me.
Vietnam, coffee cheap again with the toxic mold coming from somewhere like Vietnam. Agent Orange. What is Agent Orange?
Yeah.
It's that key ingredient in that Roundup thingy that they want to spray everywhere. Is it? Well, again, agendas. What is it? What's the key thing? That chemical. Then
DDT.
DDT. No, somebody. There's
Was
another
that
name.
thalidomide?
There's another name.
Okay.
There's another name, Kev, that I'm thinking of in Roundup that's not DDT, but that's just, yeah, thalidomide was an issue again, an agenda issue, accident, faux pas.
Glyphosate.
Thank you. That's it. And they don't say Roundup, they call it glyphosate because it's a brand thingy, but there's been too many issues with, and well done to all them dads that have gone out to those council employees and politely said, you want to go and spray that around your own house, pal? Why? Because that kills things like that live, organically, and it kills our kids and pets apparently. So go away. We don't consent. And then there's been like turf wars with these, like you don't want your young star injecting with liquid metals, heavy metals, and certain things that they don't disclose to you in the needles. Well, and this is just a spray effect, isn't it, with the residual elements going into your children and animals and your home. So that was a story I was quite sad to find out the truth about. When you look into it, it's well done to all fams that have defended territory over that. I commend it.
Yeah.
I do indeed.
Mould on charcoal, NWO. That's what put the grey in Great Britain.
Mm.
For the dampness of the country, generally.
Humidity. Yeah.
3/4 of the year, it's miserable. And if we're lucky, it gets a bit warmer. If we're really lucky, we might see the sun. It's great. Although, they can choose whatever we get now. Even with, that's not even random anymore.
Yeah, I know what he means. There's a humidity. There seems to be with the chemming and the hazing over. There is a lot more non-smelling rain coming, but we're not smelling it coming. It just appears. It seems to be contrived. There's a documentary. I've got 150 documentaries downloaded from various streaming free sites that I utilise before the imperial forces used the force and shut down the torrent proxy peer-to-peer networks as what they've done. And one of them has got lots of paperwork and disclosure from FOIs, and it's horrendous. Max Egan, when he went through his little spotlight moment of being the chosen one on the flat earth realm and etc., he did a video in that where at the end of it he showed you all of the weather modification technology and it actually being used, and the results and the patents and all of the governmental projects, military and both social. So it's no longer conspiracy theorists and whatnot. This shit exists and it's real, and you get Bill Gates coming out saying yes, we're investing so many million into putting such and such into the atmosphere to deflect the harmful sun. What? Okay, that sounds normal. And when did we all agree on that? Oh, we didn't. We decided. What do you mean you decided? Who decided? Oh yes. Wow.
Thank you. Say good night to Nonna. Speak to you soon, sister. Keep well. Hope everything's all right.
Cheerio.
Thanks for popping in and spending some time with the idiots. Us, that is.
We're at the bar. We're at the bar and nearly at last orders, look.
That's right, sat in water, mate, the trees. That's it, no good drainage. Even they don't like it.
You see, the bonds and the stocks and the markets will crash, depletion, valuation, interest, all of this that we've seen before and previously. Bitcoins, speculative ones will be in it for the long haul. You'll keep your Bitcoins and you will hold on to them. The ones that are looking for a quick few pounds credits or promises, we'll be selling them and panic selling, and there's all kinds of market driven fluctuations and panic things and injections, and I can't keep it. It's really just anyone's game. What they want to happen will happen ultimately, and the house wins 9 times out of 10, if not 10. So that's all I can say. Gold and silver. We did say about the fiat and the fiscal and the uncertainty at Christmas because of Brexit. And I did say, if you got anything, you may want to. And nothing happened. And I thought, well, there you go. All that for nothing. And then we're here now, and it's delayed, but there is a market crash. My brother and my family are told, and I told you. So it's not that I'm saying I was right, but it come on the back of a virus I was saying from Brexit. So now the ones that could see and was expecting it, it's not a shock or a surprise to you, but I feel sorry for the ones that don't have the eyes or the ears, and this is all very real and scary, and we have to be there for them as procreators, protectors, ambassadors, diplomats, sovereigns, initiates, scholars, masters, whatever you are. I'd like to just say, I'm going to join you in keeping an eye out, all right, and we're going to report back regular and see what go on in Babylon.
Lisa, I've just seen who's it? Gareth Gates. I saw that first, then I've gone back and seen your comment and just realised what Gates we're talking about. It's funny. Nice one, Mentor. I'm just going back a little bit.
Jerry, I told them if they have a problem with it, check out the hook, let the DJ revolve it. No, he said, tell them to send boss man to the man in this house. 3 years, nout. Get in. I like that. Well done, G.
Yeah, we're right at the same place. Remarkable. Can't believe it. That's never happened. We're synchronised in the room.
Josh X is a smart chap. We give love for Josh. Synchronised for the first time. It will never happen again. Josh X has been a fountain, and I just give thanks for such an energetic, intelligent man there with lots of love and openness and no ego. It's very rare to find all those qualities, as you are aware. So, Kev.
It is indeed. I haven't spoken to him for ages. He sort of, I think he retreated, didn't he, for a little bit?
Yeah. He's got travelling around.
Fair play.
Portugal, I think he said. Yeah, I've got some.
Nice work if you can get it.
Got too many WhatsApp messages. I will catch up and review at the weekend.
No.
Next week.
I've got about 23 off of one or a couple of people combined, but the same people, you see what I mean? Something like that. I haven't even looked at them yet. Been mad, I've still got something to do as well. One more thing to do and then I can break away for a little bit.
Pink lint. Nonna, pink lint.
Pink lint, yeah, so
there we go.
Nice, yeah.
I'm all good. I've caught up. I've seen everything.
Hogarth's in there. I didn't see you there. Evening. Might gone by now.
Snuck in. I didn't see Hogarth either. No.
Yeah, I'm going back up quite a way now. Well, there's a lot going on in the room. Yeah, Mensa, you're right about going. Yeah, got to be better. I think sun protection, whatever. If you can, over the top of it. But you certainly can control. You can bring in soil and stuff. You can make it a lot better, and you could leach out anything that was in it before you were planting anyway, as well, or as much as you could realistically. So absolutely, I'm not trying to put anybody off, but as I say, if you wanted to really control it on a scale that was, so you could sustain yourself or a family.
Oh.
That's what you really want to look at.
Yeah.
Almost like a grow room, but you'd be outside. But no, I can't see that being a problem. You could filter most stuff out, or an intake and an outlet. So it's not beyond reason. It's not beyond cost either.
Man can do anything we set our minds to. I've seen some technology now. It's just like even a printer. Sometimes when I've had to do like the ink refills, and you go inside your printer and you start cleaning and etc. And you're like, or you get jammed bits of paper, and you think, oh my god, this is it. Printer's dead here. Look at this, and you rag it out and clean it, get it back to normal, and it does all that reset, noisy, clunky business, and then it's off again. And you're like, you look at a print head, you think, well, it's just a square. I look at the record and the needle, don't forget. I'm fascinated still by it after using it, as many of us are. So it's just conceptual, in the brain. You look at stuff and you think, oh, somebody's made that design. A man has sat down and thought, I'm going to set my mind to this and crack on with it. And it's just technology itself, how it works. And yeah, it's fantastic. We can do anything, it's incredible the stuff we have now. CRISPR kits online, genetically able to examine your DNA by kits online for the house now. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Really? This is disgusting.
Brilliant idea, that, isn't it?
Woo-hoo. Yeah.
Yeah, I had mine specially removed from me by the police.
This is it.
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing of, hey, come on, we'll tell you about your DNA, you fucking do right. You send you in, I'm on a database straight away, get fucked. It's as bad as having Alexa in your house, isn't it? One of them.
Oh, I seen a video the other day. Ask Alexa this. Alexa, who do you work for? And she will reply, I am invented by the such and such corporation of the such and such and whatnot. And then you say, Alexa, do you work for the government? And she will say, I've seen a couple of 3 videos now, and she says, I can't find the answer for that. I can't seem to. And you say, Alexa, who do you work for? Alexa, and you test that she's on again, and then you say, Alexa, who do you work for the government? And not America, not UK, just say the government, and she will not be able to find the answer. If you have an Alexa now, please feel free to go and ask Alexa those type of questions. And also, the third one is ask them if she works for GCHQ or MI5 or the National Security, and she turns off. She doesn't answer. She turns off every time. She doesn't even give you.
You know what's going on? It's perfect.
I'd like you to test if you have an Alexa.
It's the next evolution of Facebook. It's listening to you all the fucking time.
Yeah, I know. Like we are on this Google corporative platform now, but if you have
like your phone, you say too many things in front of your phone. Next thing you go into Facebook and there's adverts. What you were talking about.
Samsung TVs coined that tech, I do believe. They were the first to, one of the first to roll that out with the A in the Samsung, like a pyramid, to symbolise like the Avicii and the other bits, and the David Guetta and many other of the house mafioso and the priestesses of high in the music and entertainment genre. It's very, very interesting, my brother, indeed, the technology that they have. But what I was going to say about all of this has escaped me now. It is disturbing though, greatly. If you have got, that's what I was going to say. If you have got an Alexa, please do ask them questions live now and feed back to me if she does turn off.
If they turn off.
Yeah, and when you ask about if she works for the government, she will always say, I cannot find the answer. It is not in my database, and she won't be able to find it. So she turns off, or she can't lie to you, is basically the AI. They haven't, what it tells me is the level of the AI, because if you've got this AI and all of them across TVs and handsets and pads and, it's not a phone, these aren't phones that we have now, they're computers that have a telephone function on them. Let's not get mistaken in this 4th industrial revolution that we're in. It's a computer and it has a phone function, is the way I look at that. And they're having a good old laugh.
The phone bit's just an add-on. Dave?
Is closed for 2 months daily.
Ah, okay. We have a news update from my queen. She says in Hungary they've decided to close the schools for a minimum of 8 weeks.
Bloody hell.
There you go. Thank you, Queen. She's on it.
Thank you for that.
There you go. That's live and direct. So Viktor Orban is the presidential management of the elite there, and he's just decreed via public announcement systems 2 months minimum. He's locked down Magyar, Hungary, next to Poland and Bosnia, Serbia, Croatia, etc. So that's Eastern Europe lockdown for 2 months. It's coming here.
Again.
Yeah, you're staying at home. I hope you're all ready for reading
Can
a
I
book.
just reply to Stephen, Steve Moore? Yeah, mate, I'm in Bedfont, so it's just down. You're just down the road as well, mate. About 10 minutes. Yes, we could do that at some point, mate. I'm sure.
I've just seen Alan.
Have you?
Is there anybody?
I'm a bit back on the room.
I can't offer any
Craig.
advice. Can't offer any advice, Alan, but we can have a chat. We can.
Oh, there is Mr. Blair.
Brother Blair, yes. I can't. We're not giving any advice, but we can have some info. I was a little bit worried about you. Your phone's gone offline. I couldn't contact you. I have tried, and the day after we spoke, and I said to the fam, a bit worried about you. So good to see you. What go on?
What's up, Alan?
He had some issues. Is he gonna? It's up to him to disclose. I can't disclose his private stuff. But if he reveals, then we can give some information, or if about his friend or anybody, it doesn't have to be, personal, sensitive data removed. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve. Wait till the bridge is work. Is a nightmare, Feltham, at the moment, mate. There's a bridge going on, and there's works at the other. Honestly, because everybody's complaining about it. So we'll meet somewhere else. It's not the best place, but it's a Bedfont High Street's not so bad. That's a little bit nearer.
We're gonna meet soon when we will let you know. If you're not, it will be on the .com. But if you get to, an email sent to my domain email, then I will incorporate, or you'll join the .com and then get down to the venue. We'll sort something out. But we want to have a first 6 month half of the year seminar, and maybe a trip to the Royal Courts of Justice. RCJ, when I say that, because I can't be arsed saying all that, and Babylonian bullocks. But we won't all go in, but some of us will go in a lead claimant with a party, and then you can oversee and hear some of the directive, and get to see a Courts of Justice London, Royal. Not Magi, not county, not district, so it's not going to be anything special. It'll be a room, to be fair. It won't be anything grand or courtly of any kind, I expect. It'll be business, and it's administrative, but we'll get to go in and go and say the piece for 30 minutes, I imagine. A collection, 12 maximum, I'd think. We'd have to report back, and all of us can then, get some indication as to the direction we need to take, if we need to go through the royal courts and so forth for the administrative remedy to the bondage, certification, indemnification. And let me just say, when I talk about securities, and when we say but they're trading bonds without any securities, you think about what securities is on that thumbnail there. It says this is security, and it's got some officers with weapons. They're security agents, security officers, and we have securities, and bonds and stocks. Stocks were devices to hold the criminals and village idiots in, to have tomatoes thrown at him made of wood for his hands and head. And bonds were leather, lacy, boundy type things initially, before handcuffs that were used to tie you, bond you, shackle you when they were dealing with you for whatever, crimes or offences, or the sheriff, or the Duke's men, or the King's men, so forth, the Knights Templars, everybody. It's the language is really surprised me, because I was told you know, little academic. I was a right little shizen, to be fair, and I wasn't privy to a high IQ. I was dyslexic and ADHD, so I struggled like shit with English and spelling and grammar and words and just simple stuff. And I'm here now, and I'm like I feel like Mickey Mouse in Fantasia sometimes with the Latins and the babble and the English and the quantums that's come in and the comparisons and the etymology and the definitions, and it's a pleasure, it's a delight now. Whereas when I was little, it was an absolute effing nightmare, and I was embarrassed, you know. Council estate single parent was bad enough without being labelled a retard and a
Me too.
freak. Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, so now I'm quite. And for you that are going through similar journeys, like I said on the other cast, if it was all to be silenced now in the great noon of existence by Atum Amen, and this video I'm going to do it the one this weekend's going to blow you. Honestly, blow your minds about
Really?
this.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, Kev. I caught myself. Um, can't say I'm a language and knowledgeable man and then come out and set me set up like that with
I
you.
got a bit of a twinge and then you spoiled it.
I'm just a teaser. Yeah, but yeah, it's all good, brother. It's all good.
So Alan's lost his phone to the
Ah,
old bill
right.
because he was going to take a picture of their numbers. Well, you're perfectly allowed to do that, so you should have that return. There's no reason for him to have that, and you need it for communication, and you're now in a vulnerable position
Health and
because you don't know where to
safety.
fucking live.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
Vulnerability.
You're going to have to push them to get it back, mate.
Private property.
Yeah,
Data.
restricting your
No consent.
ability to get help for yourself,
What use?
etc.
What use is a mobile phone to them under an eviction? What grounds do you take a phone and private property, and keep it without returning it at the end? Normally, it's returned at the end, isn't it? Yeah. Under PACE and Criminal Evidence Act, if it's evidence, they keep it as evidence. Fair enough, but it's very rare that for an eviction that would. Oh, maybe he's been videoing, and they're so for they want to keep it to stop the. Has it got evidence on the phone, Alan? Is that why they've kept it? I'm confused. For an
Yeah, it sounds
eviction.
like, but they can't. You're allowed to film them and everything,
Yeah,
so
you're right.
you're going to have to give them shit over that, mate. They can't hold that, and you've got to tell them, say all the things, how it's damaging you. They've got no right to keep it. And that's a pain in the arse, mate, but that's the way it is. Don't bother going to getting a brief to do it. It'll take forever. Go down there, speak to them. Just try not to lose your rag.
I do not.
You need it back. It's left you vulnerable and unable to make contact with people, to move around and stay with, and
Private property, yeah.
yeah, it's affecting your health and it's affecting your welfare because you might end up having to sleep outside this time of year, etc.
How do you sort if he has been evicted and he's been arrested? How do you sort your life out? If the this is why we've done that triangle. Anybody that's seen the SPO's Pro Triangle, that's a cross mix between the Dharma Taoist principality and then the shadow and fear contracts, because Greg's familiar G-star, that is, with the Taoist type realm, then we've got this triangle on. So we're going to progress this year with that for the ones that are anxious, fearful, vulnerable. The state and the police come along for civil issues, no criminality, and they intervene, and we don't consent, but they force it. They have the superiority. That's why it's a force, a police force. Rank and file officers. Rank is military rank. What rank are you? Sergeant, chief sergeant, lieutenant, trooper. Trooper is a American officer. Officer, state trooper, starship troopers, Cooper trooper, mini trooper. You get me? So we've got these officers running around with the ability and the force and the resources to do what they want. The stronghold of the City of London and the Crown agents there for civil issues and administrative financial hiccups is eviction. To be fair, there's no criminal, there's no victim. We are honourable, natural man of blood, flesh, soul, spirit, etc. So I refuse to let this arbitrary system handle us the way it does. So we don't vexate and we don't aggravate. But if man, gets in your house and he wants to evict, they seem to purport to have these lawful instruments. We need to now master the reclamation side, like when people get their mortgages, the houses mortgage into arrears, and the houses are repossessed, and then they end up getting them back because they pull them up on the particulars. Well, we've got to start doing that now. It's not going to be easy, but I, for one, for civil issues, would say because of their deception in language, and it's not an even playing field, because they don't recognise the law and they're not trained properly, they're inferior to our knowledge. We have surpassed the London rank and file metropolitan officers in knowledge. I'm sorry, but we have, and our publications and our videos prove that. So I, for one, Alan and fam, will publicly, under God, now announce and decree that as of this minute forward of this day, the Friday the 13th of the 3rd, 2020 at 23:54, that is 11:54 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, in the year of our Lord 2020, I no longer recognise the rank and file state troopers and officers and crowned there for these issues. You want to come and create in our lives, in man's lives, and this alleged authority, I refuse to engage, I man, and I have an instrument to do that with. And if they don't let us use the instrument and they force us to engage, then that is a war, I'm afraid, because we have law and God and Jesus. The Christ-like consciousness is self-initiate, is the ministry of self. If you Plato and Socrates and Santos and Andy and David and Kevin and everybody were saying these words to you because that's the code in the timeline. That's why there's a Bible in every hotel and prison and etc. to try to, it's their little smirky way of going, haha, if you can work it out, here's the book, and that's not quite the right book though. To be fair, they're quite the right edit. You have to read quite a few Bibles to get the full story and put some, pay attention. So we are going to get there, and it's your belief system, I'm afraid, and it's your soul. So I and Kev can't tell you how to proceed and handle the legal claims in your property and titles and affair and soul, but we can give you a damn good clue. And even when man is honourable and calls in officers to help and assist, they don't, because they haven't got the training. So now we need to recognise that our rank and file metropolitan state troopers, officers, sheriffs, bailiffs, what are refusing to acknowledge England and Wales law because it's UK versus, because that's legal, the undoing of God's law, the United Kingdom contract, assumed, presumed, constructed, statutory, and then you've got England and Wales, which is your saviour, your anchor, your land. And you use your bills of exchange of England and Wales, for example, that's why I say that, against your UK claims on your legal person. But then you've got Anglo-Saxon Britain, Great Britain, to fall back on after that. And you've got a third tierage, in my view. Not saying that this is, something you more want to go with. And you need to recognise who and what and where you are. And when you can, we stand together and we make a statement, an international statement now, because times, we get through this. As I've said, we have a right to live and we need to live right. Austerity, don't make me laugh. There's billions floating around that we could access tomorrow if we authorised them and we made enough stink about it, with these certificates and etc. Then I don't know. It's just food for thought for the next few days while we're all going to be kicking about and having time, yeah? Then we can discuss and further discuss privately in the private, yeah. I yield.
Yeah, is anybody on there just following on with the Bible? And Jerry's put a comment in about swearing on it and all the rest of it. Anybody on there had a look at the New Jerusalem?
Is that known as the red letter? Is that also the red letter, or is that different again?
Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me that.
The New Jerusalem Red Letter Bible, I think it might be called, if I'm right. I don't know. If so, yes. That's go on. Why?
No, only because I've had that. I told you a while ago. I was speaking to a brother, very amazingly knowledgeable in the banking stuff. Absolutely blew me away. I mean, I knew this guy was amazing. Anyway, yeah, he mentioned it. That's all. That's why it came to mind.
All right, brother.
Yeah, because because it's a right. The argument is that the KJV's been, well, we know it was written for nothing anyway, but it's been edited and messed around with, and apparently, I don't know. I'm just saying, as anybody, because I'm thinking of, because Bibles aren't that expensive, to be honest, and I'm not averse to buying one just to line it up against the others. As I say, this guy, the stuff he knew about banking and the Bible and trust and equity and everything, and ecclesiastical, so everything. Absolutely amazing guy. Must bring him again, actually. But yeah, that's what that was about.
Yeah, we come when Andy was started to chill upon after he presented his interest in the KJV and the comparisons to titles, property, and etc. and his interpretations. I did say that in the beginning we was pointed out to Lord God, split title, and certain bits and sovereignty, and that's why I called sovereign paralegals in 2015 sovereign solicitors, even as it was, and why cyber from two and eventually settling on upon a private honourable under the creator title or foundational identity as such. So we said that that the King James was known for many dirty, horrible, sullied, disgusting, embarrassing, sick, bloody affairs, and he's not the king to be proud of in any way, shape, or form. And I said it is called the authorized edition. It is not the bird. It's a man. And he goes, yeah, I know it's a manuscript, and man knows it's a manuscript, and it's got a purpose and a reason and a rhyme and a meaning. So we all settled upon that, and what else? Wait, there's more. The pure Cambridge edition is different to the standard KJV 1611 authorized edition. Then you've got the element of Shakespeare being involved in the codings and rewritings of the New Testament into the KJV. Shakespeare is an anagram, SHAK, all of those is a letter of a man that was behind a consortium that worked for and gave Mr. Shakespeare, who wasn't, William Shakespeare wasn't that was his title that he was given by the consortium that had their first letter of each name, make Shakespeare, to give him, and they prepared work for him to bring out. I'm not giving you all the sources and references, just something that I've come to learn about. So you've got the pre-Christian gnostices, and I've mentioned about the Torah, but before that you've got the story of Genesis in the Enuma Elish, which is the epic story of creation before. So there's too many, it really is. But for the law, you want to look at the KJV, and you're right, there is a red letter Bible I've looked at, and it says that Christ's words are in red. But then what I want to tell you is that if you're telling me that the Bible is a story, then how can a fictional character actually have his words written in red? Because in this video I'm going to do at the weekend, you'll find out how the new brings the life to, allegedly, but this is Egyptian, so the Egyptians will take it from the it will be a re-encoding of the Sumerian, this one, but I'm not sure which, because I'm not privy to, such as the other researchers and scholars, to the pre-Christian notices of antiquities. But the Egyptian one is gonna bring a lot of light on stuff, because Jesus was also Zeus, Jesus, Jesus, Thoth, Buddha, and many other names, and the Mosaic, Moses law, and Mercury, and gods and planets, and it's an encoding of encodings. Once you go into it a bit, it's got a meaning for many different. One story can, as Santos has pointed out, 7 translations, and they're all relevant. So it's not just you read it once, you might read it 7 times deep, depending on your your consciousness expansion, and that comes into the etymology, the language, the words, your position, your soul, your intent, your desire, everything, so you will need dictionaries, and you will need time and patience. We can help you with quite a lot of it, but a penny has to drop somewhere for you to be able to stand at some point on your own, or with limited support and reference and backup, and hold it lawfully, honourably. And we use these words and books because that's how the system, and I've given you that the other day on the cast when I said prince, principal trustee, principality, and these words that they use in law, the Latin and the church and the Bible, and the way ambassador, diplomat, certain things, and titles and money exchanges, and bonds and chains, and what I've given you from what I've found is just disgusting. But that's the language that they will hear, see, recognise, and be commanded under, as we've been commanded, and correct our sinful, SYN, sinful position with the syntax and the quantum, and I'm going to yield. Sorry. Oh, my brain. I need to sleep. It's been a long day, and I love this shit. And the Bibles have really fascinated me with the language. My favourite language of all, though, let me finish with this. It's not Sumerian, it's not Egyptian, it's not anything lovely and like Japanese and all of these, like, artistic. As lovely and beautiful as they are, these art forms of language and letters, the crypt walk of America is the best form of language man has ever shown me in my life. Hands up if you know what the crypt is, the crypt walk language of America. Have you heard of it? Have you any indication? No, brothers on the street, dancing on street corners, high, generally drunk, just in the hot sun for hours, and they do a little dance, and they move their arms and legs like in a certain position, and it's a coded message. So when the Popo Babylon officers come down, and there's a man down there running his his shotting, his hustling, and etc. Then they give a signal.
Watches, and selling watches.
Yeah, whatever it is, joke, magician's trick, street hustling in general. And there's a chain of men across like a 2-mile stretch, and windows and places and streets, and they've got a way of dancing, let me tell you. And it's called crypt dancing, crypt walking, and this funky Afro-Caribbean, American Afro-Caribbean indigenous language, and it goes across secret places and secret language, and it tells the police just think the crackheads dancing. They did do until it became common knowledge, and it was just a ghetto way of spreading and keeping
sending
in
a message.
Orders, messages, orders, warnings. In Greece, right? Let me tell you this. When we was in Greece and I started DJing, and I says, what do we do about money, boss? He says, you do the good stuff and smash the bar, and I pay you every night cash. I went, how much? And we did the agreement. No paperwork, no banks, no tax, no shit. Me and the barman, that was it. Dimitri, Yanis, whoever. And then we got to the end of the night, and I got the monies, and that went on for a bit. And then one day he says, Dave, if the music goes down, don't touch anything. You need to jump over the bar, because there's been a warning. The taxman's about, and the Greeks, they also use their bar staff and family members and whatnot, and they send out text messages and phone calls, and the taxman, they don't like paying tax, not the commercial nightclub owners, because they make a lot of money, and he wants a lot of tax, so they like to know when he's coming, because after 10 p.m. you can only have the music in these residential, commercial, hotel areas at a certain level and volume, but they smash it out till 5 in the morning, full whack at number 11 on a number 10 amp, So when this man comes walking around with his meter and his tax business, they tell these doormen, they have like a little, for your car, when you've got your alarm clicker to open and close and arm your car, they have one of them. So the taxman, if the police, anybody searches them, they've got nothing technology-wise that stands out. It just looks like a car fob on the key. But if you press it, it turns my amplifier down to 75%, Kev. When that happens, but the boss man Dimitri's telling me, you jump over the bar and you are a tourist. I said, what's happening? He goes, taxman, and he ran off. Nothing happened that night. And then a couple of nights later, I was absolutely trolleyed in at about 3 in the morning, and there was things going off that shouldn't have been going off. I'll leave it there. And then the music went down, and I'm like, what? And because I weren't paying attention, and I was being a bit like drinking and talking and flirting and whatever. And then I realised, I thought something's come unplugged, and I was that trolleyed, I forgot what his words were. And then this started banging this bottle opener on a metal bar and shouting and screaming. And I'm like, oh, what? And I jumped over, whacked my head on this girder, knocked me sen out like, and come round. And the taxman were coming, and just the things, the language, you know what I mean? That they had doormen and the network on the street, but the language and codes and that, that's how you win.
Yes.
Stories.
Yeah, Alan, you're up against it, mate. Really, I mean, you could make a request for all the body worn footage. Do that to CPS. Chance of you getting it is slim, but if you were, I can forget it. You might be able to see possibly some footage of him fucking about with your phone. But if they've deleted it, mate, trying to prove that. It's going to be a nightmare. I've got to be honest.
They've
done that.
They do what they want, don't they? Sometimes it's all paperwork. He said, she said. They've got the more witnesses, the bigger resources and statements and officers. But we do have.
They won't be helpful.
We have
CPS.
Yeah, we have some power, Kev. We do have a little bit, not much.
Yeah, but as I say, that you go as soon as you start asking for evidence and stuff and disclosure, and especially if it's body worn footage and that, then you get ignored. Take it from me.
Yeah, no, that's yeah.
I know, especially when you try, when it drops them in the shit. Obstructive's not the word. So that's the only trouble there. But your property you need back, but don't get a. I'd go down there and just put it on them.
Just one thing though, I know I sidetracked there and went a bit far with this red letter thing, and then I'll go to Alan as well. They say that these words that are in red are the ones that are spoken by Jesus, and you've got the Messiah, you've got Christ Jesus, Jesus Christ, and Jesus, and commonly these spoken juries, and I've looked at the research, and there's a word that I struggled with. That's got corporation surrounding it, which was corporeal in his life, his corporeal life on earth. And if you look at what that word is, and you've got incorporated, and I believe that's where they got the corporation. That's like I said, with the languages and the words and the churches and the Latin and the way that you progress in your research, then you'll find, that there's lots of shocking words. When you do study a Bible, you see a lot of business in it, but you're like, this is before business. So business got its dialect and its ideas as from there, the ones that created the business realm, and have created it and formed and merged it and called it what they have, because we don't get a chance, we don't do that. It's given to us. So, you'll find that in there, that there's these stark parallels, contrasts.
Yeah. We've got a witness that filmed it. Brilliant. So you've got proof.
Yeah,
so,
David. Yeah,
you need to go down there with the Shadow's giving you a load of stuff to look at. Go down there with some legislation. Go down there, with the fact that you're now homeless and you need the phone to basically survive, because you've got to phone around and find where you're staying the next day. You're vulnerable. They've taken all that away from you. It's ridiculous. You've got to
charge them. Hang on, we can
put a schedule of fees in if we're going to keep hold of it.
Let's do it like when it's get down to business, Kev.
Put a schedule of fees in. Take that down there. Put a schedule of fees in. If you don't return it to me now,
it's business.
Then this is what I'm going to charge you.
Yep.
Per day that you hold it. Cause me harm, loss, injury, and potential distress. Affecting your health, mental health and everything, because you can't contact anybody, blah, blah, blah. Schedule the fees, the buggers. And let them have that.
Yeah, and enforcement of. You need the DSAR then. Whoa. You go down and try it and see what they say. And if they play hardball, then we need a
If they are, well,
they
then we'll
need a
go in with
DSAR
go
then.
DSAR and
And then we
GDPR
find
and yeah.
names and the data, and then we work it. I'd work it that way onto the forcible notices of we didn't contract and consent, and you have used an adhesion method here and stuck it on and presumed and assumed. And if you've made claim that you've had Mr. David, Mr. Allen, Mr. Kevin, whatever, what you talking about, Phillips, and you think that that was the Mr. Well, you've had the man. So now you've harmed and caused by your tacit acquiescence of man's rights. Man's rights are man's property, like phone is man's property, but man's rights are man's property, even though they're non-tangible, you can't see them, they were given by the Most High. You've abused them, so now we need remedy, recourse, maintenance and cure. There's a fee schedule, there's stolen property, there's a civil issue. I'm getting angry here, Alan. I'll actually just let me calm down.
That's a little bit late at night for you to be getting all fired up, isn't it? Jesus.
Sorry about that. It really pisses me off, though. It really pisses me off. I'm sorry, as it does you, and it's more than Alan's.
It's the only way to deal with it. You got to you're in commerce with them, so go and send them your charges sheet. This is what it costs. If you want to, we're going to play the game. You're going to hold on to my property illegally, causing me X, Y, Z. That's the way you've got to play it. It is a business, so
it'd be the same if they held man. Yeah, you've laid claim then that you've got Mr. whatever John Doe debtor here. Well, how do you know that? Who said that I've agreed to be Mr. John Doe? I haven't said I'm Mr. John Doe, but you've treated me like I'm Mr. John Doe. Do you see where I'm going here? Yeah, there's nobody to enforce. Well, there's no instrument that we seem to have, but there is instruments because we've had discharges in magistrates and things, so they have listened and they do go into the chambers at 5 to 5 and take half an hour and deliberate and come out and discharge. So there's your common law upheld and done in a magistrate. Slim chance, 5% chance of that happening, even when you're in the right. So it can happen. For you as well with these realms of it's not all, but it mostly is ignorance. And me and Kev are seeing some great admissions and some unseen things happening and unheard of things happening right now, and they're happening in many areas and quite a lot, aren't they, Kev? So I think I think we might be in on a winner here.
Yeah, there is some really major stuff in all sorts of areas
I
going
can't
on.
cope.
Did you see that? But I think I got sent a thing today that Michael Benicia had put out. I meant to post it actually. Apparently the High Court or whatever have ruled or have told Lloyd to stop all repossession stuff over the forged signatures, and they put everything apparently. So they're under a court order now, apparently, so that anybody with Lloyd's should have some respite, at least. I must post that.
I want to say love to Menza. He's asked a question neither you or I have asked, and respect and love to Menza. He's asked Alan, is he all right, and has he got anywhere to go? Being evicted, what's going off in all areas. I just want to say, Kev's just dropped off. I think that might be his battery. We'll see. Maybe his battery's gone, or his headset. Menza, good shout. Alan, what you saying? I don't see any provisions in this budget and times for those that are hard up, not hardship. I refuse to use that word, but are poor and a little bit destitute. Where are the provisions? Where are they for that? Hello, Kev is back. I worked out.
I got cut off, mate. I'm not even holding the phone, sitting on the table. Weird. There you go.
So I don't know if you got what I said about Menza asking Alan if he'd got anywhere to go and if he was all right, for accommodation.
No, I didn't hear that, mate.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. I'm just covering that and saying.
Yeah, it was nice.
I didn't hear any provisions for those that are let's say less better off, weaker, less abled. Who's going to be looking after feeding the ones that are going to need help if the workforce and man is localized to their areas? And then we're going to, that's what I mean about the ministry of self, ministry of sovereigns, whatever, the ministry of goodness and flesh and blood, natural man, helping natural man without no commercial admiralty contract, then, because it might turn out, if you don't, somebody might, be a lot worse off. So Alan is a concern. I did voice, that other day, and I'm glad to hear that he's okay, and I'm very sad. Under such circumstances, civil administration leads
Yeah.
man to being on the street is bullshit, I'm afraid. Absolute bullshit. You're the creditor, you are the king, and you end up getting treated like this because you've got a bit of ignorance of which they didn't afford you. I want to smash their heads in, but we can't, so I have to do it this way and say, sorry, but yeah, I'll be honest, I'll be truthful. It pisses me off, as it does you, Kevin. More so Alan, if he's got nowhere and he's on his arse with no phone. Thank you, cheers. How much tax do you want paying this year? Kiss my ring. Yeah. You pay them to round you up when you don't follow the rules and you're following law. For that reason, I'm out. I no longer recognise that Crown State authority. Not a prayer. Not a prayer. You lying, deceiving, evil, greedy. Lying, deceiving, evil, greedy. That's what they are to that. If we're hearing stories like this.
It's beyond.
Yeah.
It's beyond all of that. All of those words.
Go on, Kev. Take it away.
It really is, isn't it? It's this. It's despicable. No, it's horrific. Unbelievable.
Is it the fluoride that's stopping the riots or what? But before, like in the 80s, and stuff, they were all out all the time, and in other countries they seem to get up. And is it the strong weed? Is it the pills? Is it the I don't know what it is. I'm not saying we should go out and riot, but it seems we've gone way the other way though, and we just like be alright. Somebody will fix it soon.
That's the problem. It's complacency, isn't it? Somebody else to deal with it, and most of the people I see out on the street are walking around with their heads up their asses, staring at phones. All the cartoons you see, they're absolutely real, standing at bus stops staring at phones.
Or they've got a
buses.
Can of Tennant super orchestral super strength. Well, it's one or the other. You're like, whoa, it's only half eight.
Can of tramps piss.
It's horrible.
8 in the morning.
Bless them. Then we've got ones that are on the poverty line that can't afford to go and stock up, so they have to buy food as and when money comes in and they can afford it. And if they happen to get money on a Saturday and every man and his dogs at the shelves taking, spending £150, and family goes with 30 quid for the full week shop, to get in light of this circumstance, and then there's nothing there for them to get. What I'm worried about, bottom line, after all the shits and giggles that we're having, is who the hell is going to safeguard or protect, as we now say, these. It's going to come to us, I'm afraid, because I have no faith in this shambolic city of Babylon in this war state of deception, of sin. So we've started a ministry, and I'm deadly serious. It's not a trust of the .com. It's to do with indie, and it's to do privately, but noticed on a public instrument, that being YouTube, the instrument, the vehicle, as it is. And we're gonna kick asses as best as we can. If you want to go cap in hand and taking other measures, then go do it. I don't know who the most honourable is out there of us, but I think we're all equal to some extent on our intent and want to survive. A right to life and a right life. That's all I'm saying. We try, because it could go and not be a problem, and I hope it does. But there you go. Our Queen's just come in saying Victor in Hungary's just said shut down for 2 months, and what's March? That's April, May. That's to the summertime. So we're in for at least a couple of 4 weeks. And if any of you get sick and ill, you seek your medical advice, and I hope that fixes you. But should it fail, or there be any failings, or you want to be unable to get access, or there to be something happen where there's a delay, then we will get. I want your ideas of drinks, like these hot toddies that we have when we get flu, lemon and a bit of whiskey, honey, and whatever. I want to know your own individual remedies and tonics and tinctures. Somebody
Can I just
asked a question about tinctures earlier that I meant to say. Go on, Kev.
can I just jump in? I was going to say, if anybody knows anybody who's up for any sort of assessment at the moment, then remember, no, I can't come to it because of the coronavirus. Job done.
Oh yeah.
That'll get you right out. At the moment, of course it will.
You can't go on public transport.
Absolutely.
You can't do.
I don't want to come in somewhere where there's loads of. Listen, even the hospital told me not to go there the other day. I'm not going to. Told my doctors I'm not going there at the moment. I'm high risk, mate, and not that I'm that concerned about it, but when it comes to them lot, so because of the lungs.
Right, and we're bouncing here, which is good. But I'm going through the room as well. So that's a valid, good update for DWP.
I'm right at the bottom at the moment.
Alan.
But yeah, you could use that at the moment. Absolutely, if you've got an assessment coming up and it's not already cancelled, then just that is perfect. Look, there's no way I'm not risking it. Not coming out because of the virus.
Or you might already be in self-isolation, and therefore you didn't go because you were self-isolating because you've you got symptoms of.
Nothing they can say.
No. The state, when the State Department of Public Health, remember the general public there, is telling you these things, and they will be in line with that, won't they? Because they should be. Yeah, you'd think they would be. Alan, I called the police as there was no signature from a judge or a name or anything then legible on the paperwork, and then they started an unlawful search of me in my own home with no warrant for and he's saying for my medication. That bit doesn't make sense, but I get where you're coming from. So he's a vulnerable man, and he's tried to honourably accept. So I mentioned that I'd had a call from the two Allens within half an hour, one day in the week, and they were both quite intense and serious.
Dave,
and yeah.
Does he mean the green type of medication?
I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not able to answer that, but my point is that now Alan has disclosed and testified as to what the controversy at hand here is. I did speak to him, and I was put on speakerphone, and I did try to remedy the situation with the CPR processes, warrants, legible authority from the authorship, and the fact that you've got clerks to the justices or something equivalent there won't do. There's no reverse vicarious liability. I did say to Kev afterwards, I says that was a bit horrible, Kev. I'll be honest. I says that was Scotland. They don't have the trespass that we have. The Bible has trespass. The Bible is man's law. I says I tried my best with Alan. I told him that we could speak to the officers. I asked for the paperwork in the court. They said something like Newton and Abbott. I went, well, that's a private cooperative business. That's never been a court as far as I know. Is it a court or a business there? And I was like, do you consent? No, I don't consent. You conditionally accepted. The account's in dispute. This is a controversy. How did they gain access? Was it peaceful or did they smash in? And things like this. And I tried every trick in the book, and they weren't budging. And I'm up in Scotland on a phone call from the East Midlands area, and I'm not privy with Scotland law. So number one call out, now we've got this going off, is we need some Scottish help. I have given you some information on sheriffs and bailiffs and, the equivalent up there. I'm not going to go into that now and what they are at arms and so forth, but I tried to go through as much as I could, and failing to do that, I was at the non-consent, conditionally accepted, bust through the door. They couldn't pick it. They actually caused criminal damage because they haven't got the sufficient paperwork to back up that criminal damage and non-peaceful entry. They don't have consent. So I'm like, there's crimes going off here with your rights and your setup. So we need to now get the officer, the trustees involved, whether you like it or not. These men are in, they're threatening you. I'm in England, I don't know Scottish setup. You need to get these lot on paper, recorded, and a file, because either which way you cut it, they're in, and they're not moving, and they're saying get out. I can't help you. We need now to go official because this is as worse as it gets. So, we did have to consider, and the option was record it all, get a trustee, an officer of the rank and file, and get some paperwork done, because this will have damages and recourse and needing to be, their arse kicking. So anybody that wants to help out and join in on this, as I say, in the ministry of self and whatever, that shit stinks. What that poor brother has just testified there. That's what's coming to you and a door near you very soon. If you make it through this media hype of the frenzied virus that's coming, 19 of the COVID, then fear not. The officers are still going to get you at some point if you don't toe the line. So I'm sorry, Elizabeth, QE2, but we seriously have an issue here, and the bloodshed is it's intolerable. It really is. I'm going to yield again, but shit stinks.
Yeah. Little
whichever way you cut it.
Flies in the room. Hello, mate. Again. Coming all at once. Yeah, we've been on here 2 odd hours, I think, mate, already, haven't we? 2 hours. Must have done. Didn't we? What time did we come on, Dave? About 10 to 10.
2 hours ago we've been streaming for, yeah. So, yeah, it's just a chance to give everybody, I've gabbed a fair bit again, but, yeah.
It's all good.
Fly,
That's
hello.
What you're there for.
Well done.
That's why you're the front man.
Here we go. He used weed for PTSD and electromagnetic therapy. Kev, we got a little bit more there. So
yeah, so that's what he meant by his medication. So that would make sense. They came for him and his medication.
You did mention that there was a thing about the I know that acts are only down to our persons, and we can do whatever under the thing with the covenants. But you did give some extra information about legislation and the status of the drug. Did you the substance? It's not a drug; it's a substance, cannabis and THC. So therefore, you said in a varied state, A, B, something, was it? Can you recap that?
Sorry, mate.
You said something about cannabis and the state of the substance in the legislation says that if it's not being... Yeah, thank you.
If you read the... Sorry, Dave, I was absolutely miles away then reading the
It's all right, I got you. We're back. 3, 2, 1, you're back in the room.
Right, so if you look in the Misuse of Drugs Act, what is it, 71, is it, or 74, 71? Anyway, now... You grow some plants, right? Now, even if you harvest them and dry them, okay, the THC on the plant, wet or dry, at that time is THCA, okay? The acid doesn't come off until you introduce the heat, okay, and it turns to THC. So, and if you look at the Misuse of Drugs Act, it actually says quite clearly that no amount of THCA can be made, it can't be classified. No amount, because it's nothing as THCA. But actually that's the state it's in when you're growing it, right up to the moment you light a joint or put it in a bong or vape it, or it's technically THC, or decarboxylate it in the oven, or ingest it in whatever way you want. So until the acid's taken off, the Misuse of Drugs Act says it's not even illegal. Then, there you go.
These are what we call loopholes. I've posted a link.
Because it's THCA. It's THCA.
I've posted a link to the .gov.uk policy paper, which is entitled "The Classification of Cannabis under the Misuse of Drugs Act 1971," correct? And amended 2002. This was published March 03, and it's the Council of the Advisory on the Misuse of Drugs, and this one will cover the classification of cannabis under that Act 1971, and it's telling you in 01 the Home Secretary had asked the Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drugs to review classification of cannabis preparations in the light of current scientific evidence. The Advisory Council recommended the reclassification from B to C under the Act of 71 It concluded, this isn't all the report, it's just a summary. It concluded that the classification of cannabis as a Class B was disproportionate, both in relation to its inherent toxicity and to that of other Class B substances such as amphetamine. Never been the same, Jelly Bean. Amphet's more of a killer than weed would be any day. Defo, it's
Industrial cleaner,
dangerous.
mate.
Fuck.
That's what we were all ingesting. Industrial cleaners.
That Cheech and Chong film where she puts that Ajax out and he sniffs it all and she's like, pop, that did make me laugh. Anyway, however, in making its recommendation, the council wished it to be clearly understood that cannabis was unquestionably harmful. Wow, it's harmful, everyone. And it was anxious that the dangers associated, it cures cancer, and they're saying there's look at this hyping on the .gov. How the freak can you say it's toxicity?
Licenses to grow it. It's fucking terrible stuff. Oh, have a license to grow it.
Yeah, that the dangers associated with the use of cannabis were widely known. All right, then, let's have your substance for that report. Who is responsible? You see, you've got a .gov UK website, you've got no name, you've got no publisher, no author, no, it's just rubbish. It's just, yeah. Crown copyright. It's crown
shit.
It's crown copyright though, fam. So that's where it. When I say the crown,
it's written by idiots. Yeah, we know who the crown are. It wasn't somebody sitting next to Liz at the fucking dinner table wrote that.
No, it wasn't. It was the cabal.
It was the offshore bankrupt
Rockefeller Cayman Institute.
City of London, known as the United Kingdom Corporation. LLC.
Partnership in Babylon.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the room and then...
kiddie fuckers.
That's
Oh, did I say that out loud? Right.
Yes, you did, Kev.
Yeah, well then you've got the... Alan, you've also got the... What's the bit in the Bible where he says, I have given you all the fruit-bearing trees and seed-bearing fruit... bushes or whatever, on the face of the earth. So
I am not in possession
of... you saying God made a mistake.
Don't get me on the Dogons and the Dog Star and the cannabis and the canine, but that's brilliant in itself. But Craig and Williams, have you seen what they've put? I don't possess cannabis. Cannabis possesses me. Yeah. I like it. I'm not in possession. Possession, there's another biblical scriptural word there, legal, Latin, and same. They're just popping out left, right, and centre. See what they've done. Possession. It's the evil,
it's
the sin.
Fucking dope haunted.
Appear. You appear. Appearances.
Yeah.
The dead appear. All rise. The dead arise.
Oh, don't.
You charge a dead body when it has a heart arrest. They put the paddles on that they paddle in the sea with, and the pool, and they paddle you and they bring you back to life with the charge. Oh, God Lord, it's just there in your face. I can't wait for this year to be over, because you know what? We're all going to be smiling. We're all going to be smiling like the Cheshire Cat, and we won't be able to stop. Get ready for abundance. Not Ubuntu, abundance. Abundance. It's a dance with a bun, and we're all doing it.
Yeah, alcohol is the worst of everything. That's why we're allowed it. Terrible depressant.
Ruins lives, wrecks lives, violence,
terrible
clubbing.
Shit. I love it. I don't do it very often, scene. But I like a drink. But yeah, you see people, and when you don't drink that often and you see people pissed, you think, fucking hell. Is that what I'm like? I know what I'm like when I drink, Jesus. I really do enjoy a drink, and I'll be honest, I come from a long and distinguished line of professional alcoholics.
Yeah, lots do. I've got Irish in the blood, and Italian and Greek, and the Mediterraneans love a tipple. Just
it's mandatory, mate.
Yeah.
In Ireland,
It's a cultural thing, like in the colder countries, they drink the vodkas and stuff, not because they're alcohols, but because it's a blood and heat thing. It's a body metaphysics exchange. I will say this though, Is it Austria or Vienna? There's somewhere in the world that loves a drink at all times. Where is it? It's one of the two. I'm sorry, which one it isn't, but Austria or Vienna.
Vienna is no.
Is it Austria? Is that the same place
Vienna
then?
is in
Austria.
Austria.
So it might be Vienna in Austria then that they love and absolutely, because I've gone through it and I've seen and driven when we went to Hungary. The
Belgians like a drink. It's really strong
alcohol
beers
everywhere.
they brew. Oh,
brilliant.
Belgians, yeah, infamous. But they don't drink a lot of like we would have pints. You don't. But all the beers are relatively small, but they're fucking ridiculously strong.
Yeah, that's like a coffee, but instead it's the beer side. The strength is the what you want there rather than the quantity. It's the strength, and then you, like me, have 2 liters of strong espresso coffee a day. You're just waiting for a heart attack, really. um, Alcohol though, I've enjoyed it. I've sailed in her. I've slept in her. She's been my mistress. She's honestly
me.
mosquito bites and sweaty hotel rooms and waking up not knowing where you are, crashing Vespers, being shot at by Albanian club owners for giving them the rods and threatening to kill them. Drunken states. It's ruined me. It has. It's caused me pain, lost skin, lost items, lost time, years, money, liters and liters and liters of water. And I come to the time of I've had enough now. I lost and got hurt enough, and that was me. I'll have a bit now and again, but it's called a spirit for a reason. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah, as I say, I don't do it very often. I don't, but I do tend to have a go when I do drink. I don't mean it's like I just go all out to drink as much as I can. It would just usually end up as an all-nighter.
Yeah.
Go to sleep 7, 8 in the morning, 9. Just drink all night.
It's just the way that it has ruined some people's lives. When you look at the
I've seen loads of it.
You look at the typical films that we've seen before, and not Come On Eileen. That was a Dex's Midnight Runners tune there, but I'm thinking in the era of that tune, Dex's Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen, Eileen Tarua. Such a classic. That era.
That was huge, wasn't it, at the time? Huge chat. Still popular now, isn't it? From the Christmas
That's probably
numbers, if
I was to be honest, that is the tune of my childhood. Come On Eileen, Dex's Midnight Runners. It was always on telly when I was in where my memories are. It's that era. The films, just fists, and it was. You see, man, this is the thing. Man was quite aggressive to the queens. Our queens back in the 70s and 60s, they had the liberation and the right to work and be a slave and pay taxes and leave the home roost and become equivalent to a man in law and in the slave trade, now in sin, etc. And we see that they was, I've not been coy about our childhood and what happened and the reason for my mum's entrance into law, because she was a victim of domestic violence by angry, aggressive, pissed up men, and they beat us and her up, and she tried to make a difference for in her own way to on her journey in life. And so these are these times where women, they've been disrespected. They are the ones that bear man and crown, and they were treated really like shit by man in general. It's only of late, if you look in 2020, the last 50 years, that's taking it to 1970, they were treated like shit then, commonly, openly, paid wage, labour, TV, rights, politics, everything. It's only 70s, 80s increments, Thatcher and stuff and all that coming in, politics and political uprights. We've always had female actors, but I'll go one further. The darker skinned brothers, when they made a film like Gone with the Wind and stuff, or I don't know if it is that one, I'm tired as hell, and just think of a film which is old, where there's been some darker skinned, previously labelled black. I now just say darker skinned because I find that's a bit offensive as well, and I've been having a chat with some dreads, and and they win awards. But then the thing is, it's the 1950s, and they're still a bit racist there, to be fair, and slaves and whatnot. So, but these actors have won awards. I were at an awards ceremony, and they've been nominated. And the bloke who's made the film, whatever the director, whatever, which I said, Gone with the Wind, I'll use that one. It might not be, there may not be any darker skin actors in that film. I'm tired. It's a film of
I
that,
can't remember.
like that,
Probably.
yeah. And
Sam.
he had to have a special word with the facilitator of the academy. You can imagine what was this was like, white man to white man, about a darker skinned actor that's possibly nominated for a not hereditary, an incredible heralded part that they've played, critically acclaimed, and because they're racist, they've got to get special permission to get her in to sit her at a table on her own, facing the wall. What the fuck? You know what I mean? And that wasn't that long ago.
No.
It wasn't
segregation.
That long ago.
It wasn't. Mate,
it makes me sick.
Yeah.
The bureaucracy of it all, and we did that. And here we are now, thinking that these same people have all changed and they're honourable. And no.
No, they just moved it somewhere else.
It's the same fam.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Kev.
Yeah, just change the game slightly.
That lady that refused to give her bus seat up. There's a lady, famous darker skin.
Oh yeah.
Rosetta, somebody is it? Come on.
Rose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, can somebody will drop it in the room? Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So just because, we're white.
Rosa Parks
or something. There you go. We got some embarrassing smears going off, all left, right, and so I don't know how we got onto this, but it started with women, but it will end with, full acceptance.
There's beer and mushrooms going on in the chat room.
Oh God, I'm going. What? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm right in there, mate. I'm loving it.
To the chat room, Phillips.
Yeah, Alan, get your paperwork precedes the man. Make sure you get it in within time. Don't let them give you that bullshit about if they say 7 days, get some in. You can put the paperwork in right up till before you go into court, and just stand your ground with your state standard capacity and who you are and who the mister is, and you're the benefit. That's stick with it. Don't let them take you any other way. You can be, some positions in this. When we do this and we speculate and hypothesize about these positions in law, titles, liability, etc. Yes, you can take your birth certificate with you, and you could make that. Because offer it to them. This is why we say it's an insurance policy now. I'll explain it a bit more deeper, precisely. If the shit starts hitting the fan and no one's listening, and they're not, you're in a public courthouse, you've filed your paperwork, and they're not having it, and it's not going the way that it should be, and you're having to now authorise, restrict the judge's discretionary powers, and put people on notice and hold them to account, and you've taken the liberty of bringing your person with you, the estate, entity, fiction, etc., data self, you would then consider making the judge trustee of the surname, estate there, capitalised name, Phillips Jeremita, and you would say that the person, the mister, the estate, the one they've asked to see, the financial instrument, the equitable instrument of the birth certificate, can be the benefit by the one that gets awarded the fines, fees and forfeits. You would be at the top of the pyramid, handing over the certificate as the natural man, not natural person, not legal person, the natural man, set law, thereby special appearance in a non-representative capacity. They are, you're not the defendant, in other words, and you hand over the certificate. Presence of the body corrects the error in the name. They can argue that sometimes, and say that you are the mister, but then you'd hold them to the 1911 Perjury Act and so forth, and just jump, don't worry about that, we've been there before, and so that's You've got to be cool as a cucumber, though. Even if they're all going tits up, fucking screaming at you, you've got to be cool as a cucumber, mate, that's when they want you to react, so they've got a reason to get you slung and then deal with you when you're... You don't have to explain all of that, because your paperwork will precede you and everything will be set out there, and within that the magistrate may need to get legal advice and help on reading that. You might be in a position, mate, where all you're saying, Alan, is please refer to my bundle. That's it. They ask you questions, please refer to my bundle. That's all you might have to say, mate.
And the
It's all in there.
magistrate,
I've done it. I've written it all for you. There it is.
the magistrate can be made the trustee if the brown stuff hits the fan. Your person is there to be the beneficiary, to be awarded fines, fees, forfeits, and collections, and you are the settlor. So the three positions are now reset. This is a dissolving of the trust. That was the statutory constructed public Sesta KV trust. You have now expressed it via the paperwork filed before the arbitrary due process non-judicial hearing. You are avoiding a summary judgment and liability. You are being honourable, representing correctly, and this is where we have to then go for the enforcement or to the discharge. You either have the option to discharge it, dismiss, honourable. When you're in the military, you get what? Discharge, honourable discharge, or dishonourable discharge. Either way, it's discharge. Electricity is discharge. So they're looking to discharge, or they're looking to hold it and make it stick. If they're looking to hold it and make it stick and press on with the charging there, then you're looking to discharge them yourself now, because they're refusing to discharge. But they're not going to be able to discharge in a magistrate, so they're going to have to move it up to somewhere of the correct authority from the correct avenues. I'm not getting into it now, but you need to go into a higher court which will recognise and be private and honour. They still commit personage and barratry, but you've got more of an option and due process, judicial. You're going from due process to judicial now, so you get it moved and into the correct realm, because you're not in the correct authority, jurisdiction, etc. Are you? So they may walk off and they may try to give you a summary judgment. It's all circumstances at the time. We can't tell you what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what judge you're going to get. I don't know what court or business or where you're going to be. But the general rule is, and then you are having to know thyself as a member of the ministry of self-initiate, sovereign, master, self-educate, etc., and with your scholarly self-confidence in what you've done, you will command now and move from the legal self-assumptive, presumptive, guilty debtor, and you will go with the Christ-like consciousness, and pow, we will send you into the courtroom with words, and you will send them into there like they send soldiers into a battle to free the hell out of the poor folk. Do you know what I mean? So we're not vexatious, we're not malicious, we don't so much rely on the Constitution. We have different positions and mighty, powerful ones. We have armour and we have intent and honour. And there's a new set of rules in the game, and they are being worked well. And it's going to take a bit longer. But Alan is a prime example that there are good non-criminal, vexatious members of our clan out there that are under state community care and housing and responsibility and duties, and they are legally being ejected into the abyss, the noon, the dark eternal stillness, if you like, and that shit stinks, and I don't want to be a part of that. I don't consent to that. I don't agree for that. I didn't vote for that. I didn't sign up for that, and I'm not paying taxes to what? No, not a chance. You come and get me now and string me up, do whatever, but I refuse. I do not recognise. And this ministry that we have, by saying I, EYE, or little I, or AYE, you are officially accepted into our ministry of self-initiates, and this video is the entry portal for you to do that. And I will collect all of the I's up and make a note of the scribes, and I will do so on the .com and let them know. We have a community-based project, initiative, incentive and goal with regards to the triangle and self-esteem, mental health, aggression, depression, suicide. Good Lord, what is the government actually doing? What are we paying them? And they want more money for potholes as well.
What government?
Oh my God. It's a rate
that.
This is it. I know that. I know. I'm just saying though. It's. Yeah. I just want to soundbite all of the.
I know that. I know you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We haven't actually got a government. I haven't had one since the 1700s. It's a corporation. That's how all the shit works. Simple as that.
It doesn't have consent.
No law, we're in legal shit.
He said, Alan says he hasn't given consent, and he does not have any representatives. Well, you represent your person yourself. You either choose to adorn the persona, the mask, and you take the liability, or you separate, and you carry on as you are, and you afford it with instruments and notices and damages. Who wants to come to the court to see how well I do? See, we need backup for him up north. We've got no strength up north at all. I don't mind telling you, we're weak as shit up north, and it's not good, Alan. We've got Snafu up there, Nonna, and Alan, as far as I know, and that's three of them. And Scotland's massive, to be fair, so they're probably going to be scattered around. Names make no difference in the courtroom. Okay. There's loads to read here. Yes, they do. Give me your name. Equity does not aid a volunteer. There's a rule here. They have the three jurisdictions to consider and break down. They have the thingy of property. I've said this loads, but I can't remember them all now. And what are they? The assumption of the property, and by that, the Cester KV 1302 and the Attorney Regis, the Convocation, the Lex Mercatoria. Oh my God, there's loads here that they've proclaimed and they've claimed. So when you go to the venue, they have venue jurisdiction because it's their venue. So they go for jurisdiction 3. God Lord, it's amazing what shit I keep in here. Jurisdiction venue is their court, their venue. It's not ours. We didn't build it. We've gone into it willingly. And remember, equity doesn't aid a volunteer. This is about names, though, remember, as well. Now, equity and common law and statutory is where we divide and we separate. And they've got the jurisdiction of the venue. They want the jurisdiction of the property. They've got that, unum sanctum 1302. Now they just need the other jurisdiction. What's that? Venue, property, and the name. They want you to give them the last bit, all right? And that's why they say, where is Mr. Blair, Jeremita, Phillips, etc. And you give them, you can't give them. How can man be a name? We break this down, and Gloucester Channel have copied it, and Ronan has got into English concise grammatical Oxford styles, and he's repeated what we've said. A name is a noun. It begins with a capital letter, and the style, status, and capacities of in law with conjunction to reference to you giving them your soul. So names make all the difference, and you cannot judge. You cannot. How can I be a name? You know what I mean? That's an insult. How the fuck can man be a name, Alan? You know what I mean? I'm not a name. Whether they like it or not, you have to decide. So names, and you say that to me. I'm sorry for saying the F word, but I weren't swearing at you. I'm just saying the judge. Yeah, how can I be a name? Are you going to force me to proceed? Are you going to assume that I am? What proof do you have? Yes. I am here today in a special appearance, appearance in a non-representative capacity. We are not the defendant. We? What do you mean we? Have you been drinking?
You can't represent yourself.
Alan and Blair are present here today. What? Yes, Alan and Blair. We are a privy party. And this is how we roll. And he needs to know. And if he doesn't know, then he best get to know. Your paperwork will have that there. Yeah. So names, when you say names make no difference in the courtroom, I beg to differ. That's exactly the last bit of the jurisdiction of the 3 that they need to get you, and that's why they say that. So you don't do that, they will order a summary judgment. So we need to limit their discretion. There's no point arguing the name. Well, I've just wasted that bit of conversation then, but there you go. I've just undone that bit for you. If you do your paperwork properly, you should not need to appear. Yes, that's sending an officer into the court, and your paperwork will precede you. But you take that risk then and send it in and get the records, and they will maybe not be so honourable as if you was there to enforce your rights. But I have said they are civil participation venues or civil participation courts. They are not de jure of law, and they are due process. So. And they're not judicial, they're arbitrary, so it would stand to reason, and it would be good advice if I would ever give advice. It would be a good stance to take, that the dangers, the pitfalls, and if you're confident, go down and smash it with paperwork and do both. If you're not, just put the paperwork in and sit back. Yes, Kev? No?
Yes. You've got the paperwork, all about the paperwork. If you're going into the realm, all about the paperwork, otherwise you're wasting your fucking time. And then, as I say, you've got that to point them at. Don't let them call you mister.
Yeah, Rob S. Look at that. You've got Rob S up there. Get a shout going out to Rob S. Never mind Indy and Kev and the Fool. You got Rob S up there. Okay. Come on, Jimmy. There we go. I'm not saying, much love. I'd like to come up and meet Rob and do a video with him, but he didn't get back to me and didn't answer, and I thought, oh, we don't want to be friends.
Don't cry, Dave. You're all right.
Freeman's
You got
asking.
me instead.
Freeman's asking, anyone have any advice? There's no advice here from me or Kev. Definitely not. Maybe from the scribes. What's up with Freeman?
What's happened there?
I don't know. He's just come in asking.
No, it's okay. It's all good. Whereabouts?
Is it the bottom?
Freeman. Right, let's go down there. Oh yeah. For what, mate? We don't give advice. We'll give you some
information. Duly inform you. We duly inform you is what we're good at. It's our obligation and duty.
What's the problem?
See that court stuff? I just want to let you know, right, that stuff there, when you drink good water and when you balance, I can't believe I'm saying these words, when you balance, I listen to kind of trippy music, Sanskrit, binaural, when I'm not videoing and running around like a twat 50 hours a week and whatever, but there is times where I get to chill and centre, and if you take some time to just restructure your thought process, your mind, your mentalism, and you've seen me, I'm on video, I've laid it out for you to go and laugh at. You can have a memory. I am 40 something and I should be going downhill according to, some reports, and Alzheimer's at 50 standard now. And my brain, the recollection of the research that I've just given you then was approximately over 10 years. And I dreamt of the day that I could once, be able to confidently, calmly, collectively, spontaneously and articulately bring you such structured things that I have then, after a full day shift, in light of all this crap, at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm quite happy to be with you to have done that. And if I can do it, you can do it. That's the bottom line. Yes, sir. We're going to wrap up soon, Kev. I am tired, brother.
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock, mate, in the morning.
We've had a good laugh. No one's upset. We've done some good, I hope. I don't know how we do it. Bless you. I don't know.
No, we've done all right. Another 3 hour. It's not bad. See, I'm hungry again now.
You're like a little hamster. Do you do little and often?
I don't know, 2 hours. I don't seem to get home. But hit 3 hours. That last time I was like, I'm bloody starving now. Yeah. Freeman said, question was further up.
So you'd rather write question was further up and at 0040 than write it out again. That's just sheer laziness. When you see, I'm not being funny, but let's just roll up. Is it, I can't even be asked to roll up now after reading that, but I'm gonna, just to see how massive it is, because you couldn't write it out a second time. That was a bit catty, weren't it? That's because I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
David, you're tired. I think you need to go get some sleep.
Yeah, I do apologise. I noticed that reply was a little bit... Come on, I can't even find it.
Look, I'm looking.
What? You don't even say the time for me anymore. I can't even see a time reference or...
Christ, all the way back. Oh, I don't know. I've probably gone past it.
It's gone. Right, what happens on here is when it disconnects the laptop and it disconnects the chat, it reverts back to top chat and not live chat.
Oh, yeah.
And it's done.
I'm definitely in live. I'm all right.
I'm just going into live now so I can find Freeman's 0040 flare.
Who are we looking for? Freeman.
Look at this, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Robert Barker. Hello.
Easy, bro.
He might have gone by now. Sorry if you have. Grey.
I can't see it, Kev. Me tiny eyes, look.
Okay, no, yeah, mine have.
Has he actually written anything? Can anybody see it?
I just wanted to say.
Somebody rewrite his question if he
Anyone have? Well, I've seen that one.
There's nothing there, no. Freeman, check that you pressed enter. There's nothing there, bruv. There is nothing there either. Wow. And you didn't write it out a second time. Right, we're finished now. Everybody, we're going to bed. Good night. Thank you, Freeman. Ciao.
I can't see it.
There's nothing there, look.
I've gone miles back.
Dave Paul, thank you. Check this out. It's going live now. I can't right now, but I will do after the show. Update cast. Yeah, we are going to bed soon. Freeman, there is no question there, neither Kev nor I can see it. So weirdness all around.
Back.
So I think he's got confused. Maybe he was on another chat, or he's not pressed enter, or something.
Maybe just thought it.
Oh.
Christ, I'm miles back.
No, it's not there. There's nothing. It doesn't say message deleted either. It would say message deleted.
No, I haven't seen one of them. As I say, there's not many names in grey, so it's not hard to spot.
Yeah, it's not hard to spot, Kev.
I can't see the question, mate.
Albert says he can't see it, so there we go.
No,
Sorry.
right back at I'm right back at Andy and that earlier. Bloody hell.
That's 5 minutes. We'll not get back. That was for you, Freeman.
Oh, never mind. We had to go. We looked for you, mate. You lied to us. You got us all excited.
Thanks, lads.
No question.
Look at Jerry. Jerry's left you a message, Kev. No, he's left us a message, actually.
Quarantine. Yeah, you stay in there, you disease bugger. I hope you feel better, mate.
Suck a lemon.
Suck a lemon, yeah. Put some in your eye, that'd be funny.
Oh, I've done that once, doing it in the kebab when I was drunk, and yeah, it squeezed in the wrong. Anyway, much love. It's been fun.
Yes, it has. Thank you very much, everybody. Absolutely mental in the room this evening.
There's a good few hundred comments, yeah.
But yeah, there's that's 3 hours or so we give you. I'm sure we started about 10 to 10, something like that. So yeah, I must admit my eyes are getting a bit gritty now. I need to go and smoke some Rastafarian Old Hoban and chill out and wind down so I can try and get to sleep by about 3:30 if I'm lucky. So thank you very much to everybody. Really enjoyed it. As I say, apart from the bit about Dave's intro, really nothing planned. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've been entertaining in some way. And I'm really glad that you entertain and speak to each other in the chat room. That's great. We'll see you soon. Much love.
This has been your Kirk. Kirk is the Scottish word for church. That's why I put Kirk at the beginning. This is this is thy Kirk. This is where we heal thy hurt. Like God is a DJ. Yeah, it's been fun. The Ministry of Sovereignty or Self-Initiates, MOS. Again, DJ title. Ministry of Sound was before MOS to me. Yeah, just to play with ideas really, and at times like this, control, calmness, rising above the cheapness of man, the selfishness of man. To some extent, at times like this, I'm not perfect in any way, and I don't think I'm better than anyone. I'm just different, is how I view myself, and I view you. Kev scribes the same. You see things differently, you feel differently, you think differently. So it's not a level of betterness. It's understanding and conscionable actions and statuses, and to some extent dealing with this military invasion that the rest of our fam and clan have omitted to see, as we do. Again, this is one of the final bastions and perimeters of these conspiracies that we need to bust through. There are a great many great, fantastic, amazing, intelligent, articulate, way better than me or what I could even dream of out there. And they're, they're working just as you are and I are. So some we know of and some we don't. We're yet to meet them. So this year, as I said, last year we knew it was going to be big. It's of no surprise or, of any, it's not overwhelming. It's just there is a lot going off. And we can make the difference on a singular basis around your community area, everything. But look after yourselves as well more than anything. Because if you don't look after you, then you're no good to no one else.
I can attest to that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, really important. But do what you can.
The media is utilising this. This is a media wet dream. This is, I'm telling you now, with some of the headlines that I'm seeing and how they're wording it, they want your subconscious to think it's the end of the world. So don't let that, run away with you, because that's their game. Hype it up, buzzwords and numbers, red, death. It's the Prime Minister even saying, Boris, bless him, some things I don't take the piss out of him for. I don't envy on any man. I don't hate Boris. I don't hate anybody really, but despise is a better word, and I didn't really envy him having to come out as part of his corporate job for the UK government corporation and say there will be more deaths. I thought that is in 2020 with all the tech and the know-how and the gene splicing and everything, you're going to come out there and tell these poor little fucks, it's our family, sorry, but you are poor if you don't know who you are, what you are and how to heal yourself. You're poor, you're damned, and you're going to tell them there's going to be more deaths when there don't need to be. So there is some kind of weirdness. If the UK government, a horror master telling us that they know of GANs, and if that's what they're spraying in China, back to the beginning, looping it back round, I will cream myself, because that's what we've got. If they're spraying, I'm not saying they are, it's just a research and discovery, but what are they spraying, number one? And if it is GANs related, then guess what? We're all set to be immune.
Hey.
And thank you, Anders, and a horror master.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to just trying a bit of that, see what it does for me, especially pain-wise.
We'll get it out. I'll get the ones that want some out.
Don't you sweat it, brother.
Yeah, we'll do that now. We've got
at
time.
Your leisure.
Shit, see the room. Let's say the goodbyes. It's not going to be a half-hour goodbye this time. See if Freeman's chelped up with some... I don't want to leave him hanging if we can't find a question. He's got a chance to ask again. So good, clean hands, And
yes,
respect.
Freeman, you could always send an email with the question.
What's that? NWO reset isn't just about the currency, pension, credit, which or what isn't involved in this. Deaths from a virus, really? Is it really a virus, or is it just a mask? Exactly. Some people have claimed some crazy things going around, and when you look at this nano biotech, these robots that can build more robots, but they're tiny, I'm like, shut the front door. You're telling me we can't fix a simple virus, but yet there's nanotech, fucking 5G wireless bugs going around. Build more of their own, and what the sorry everyone, but this is where...
Calm down. Breathe, David.
Can't fix the common cold. Hang on, man's here with some silver and some water and a Samsung charger in a kitchen, and he's telling his scribes that you can...
if you've had the cold, you've had the coronavirus.
Influenza and infections like that. Bless. I love you all. Thank you. Good comment, NWO.
Peace and love, everybody. Thanks for listening.
I've put a comment in. We'll see you soon. We'll update you again. I will be checking WhatsApps, emails, notifications. I had a crappy week, and this Friday was quite harsh actually. Luckily I got back quite early and managed to lick my wounds and get my son into that supermarket and just get some bits for the fam in preparation for. So I hope there isn't anything to prepare for, and I hope it's all been a waste of time. But if it isn't, then we'll come back and we'll update you, and we'll try to look out for each other, eh? Thank you all. Ciao for now. Kev?
Good night, everybody. Thanks. Peace and love.
Yes, much love. Ciao.